Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Triton-Cup 113. Today, we'll be bringing you our first set, which is Lunar Sirens against Abo in a best of three. As you guys know, Triton-Cup is our zone's only tournament. And yeah, we're going to get straight into it in just a moment. The players are already ready to go. My name is Jason, and joining me tonight will be Imad.
Well, hello. Happy to be here. So we got some nice zones maps loaded up for our first set. I'm particularly excited to see Mahi. I know that is actually all three of these are pretty fire zones maps, if I'm being honest. But Mahi in particular is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Mahi is a very nice map, both aesthetically and I think gameplay-wise. It's both nice on both fronts. We'll see how both teams are cracking on. First, I want to highlight our Lunar Sirens, most notably acing previous paddling pool winner with a lot of what I'd consider some of the old heads of the UK scene in the rest of what used to be Anxiety Sirens. Coming up against Abo, which is Pink Puffy Pastry and their Ban Happy crew, I will call them. But yeah, Imad, how do you think this is going to shape up for the first couple games?
Ooh, well, to start off, like I'm looking at this combo we have from Lunar Sirens here. They have a Zap playing for their cooler weapon, but then they have a Luna Blaster and Charger combo for a nice long range, short range kind of aggression here. But pairing that alongside with the Reef Slider bucket, it's like they're really going for like trying to enable that Luna Blaster kind of push up and just be a little rat in their base right now.
Right now, Lily's trying to be around on the other side. Unfortunately, gets taken down, and Pastry's gone down too. That's Conroy with, I believe, 2 big kills, and already some control for Lunar Sirens as they set up for this hold. Already down to 75 on the zone timer. They've got Reef Slider and Hammer to play with. A Crab on the other side for Pink Puffy Pastry's crew. It's going to be popped out on this right side. Acing's trying to see if it gets closer, but will opt for playing this right side. Will take down Pastry, and now goes for the Crab, and will take that down too. A huge 2 kills from Acing to kick things off.
That is exactly where you want your Luna Blaster to be right there. Able to get 2 sneaky picks before even getting sussed out here. And then we saw the Dreadringer cleaning up on that right side there. So already Luna Sirens bringing it down to 30 points, and they look like they are not going to be letting up here. Abo going to be getting a nice pick on the Luna Blaster. That is going to be key to get in, and now it goes down the Dreadringer. But they just got to paint the zone. It's still taken away for Luna Sirens right now.
Acing will take down that Crab, and it's just the pencil left alive. Not enough paint available, and a very quick game 1 start for Lunar Sirens in very convincing fashion. Their opening was a bit slow, but they got the cap immediately and realized that the Abo were playing so aggressively and punished those walk-ins so easily and managed to take control of the full map with relative ease.
For sure. And honestly, like when the 2 players went down right at the end there, I thought for sure that they were going to be able to, Abo was going to be able to get in and cap the zone, but even with a couple of players that Lunar Sirens had up, is that they were able to kind of direct attention away from the zone long enough to get those splats to kind of seal the deal there. But I think, like, again, just the aggression from the Luna Blaster for sure, but then also from like that Dreadringer as well, just they were able to just keep things on lockdown of Mahi.
Yeah, it was a nice spread out defense, I think, for Lunar Sirens that definitely helped them win that game. You can see on the highlights here, Acing opting not to instantly go for the Crab and instead focus on the right side where the rest of their teammates were positioned, making sure they don't get caught off guard. And yeah, that opened up the positioning for Conroy then to pop the reslide on that bottom right and get that 3rd kill and keep the hold going. Going to move on to Ramen now. Slightly more, I think, difficult map considering there's not much open field, and with a Charger having so much pressure all over that mid area, it's going to be quite difficult for Abo to sort of bring themselves back into this. But they do have the pencil, they do have the decal, they've got a bubble and some range pressure to work with. We'll see how they shape up going into this game too.
No, for sure. And I'm curious because we don't see Firefin used too often, but that could very much be a Mahi pick because, like you said, just it does have a lot of open areas. But going into Ramen, I know Pencil is really the only long-range backline that has like just so much presence on this map. But I think they're going to really have to watch out for the Luna Blast because there's a lot of nooks and crannies for that to be able to just sneak around and hide, especially with the chip damage.
Yeah, Lunar Sirens have opted to increase their range. They're putting Geo on the scope Lisa this time. No change in comp for Abo, and a quick pick from Acing, I believe, is still fighting on this left-hand side. We'll get to. Still the Shark on the right is Lily alone. 3 quick kills from Lunar Sirens will already open up the floor to take this ramp.
They pushed up so quickly, and just that one engagement in mid was able to get them so much faith to work with. And now the Charger going to be cleaning up the Pencil as well, so they are 2 members down. Pastry trying to dive in, try to find something to happen, but unfortunately, we are going to be seeing a disconnect right there. And so thankfully that was soon enough that we're going to be able to see a quick reset right now. But dang, Luna Sirens, like that was such a good opening. And just they had such good momentum rolling into that.
But yeah, this is the chance for Abono to sort of pick apart the opening that happened. I think what it was at the start, unfortunately, we couldn't see straight away, but it might have been the Lita posting up so early and catching out that one player in the middle of the zone that sort of opened the floodgates for Luna Sirens to get moving. So we'll see how Abo sort of adapts to what had happened on that previous opening. See if they give a bit more respect to that Lita, try and fish out where the Lunar Blaster's lurking and try to take them out first before they consider the rest of the map.
Absolutely. And it's so difficult because like if you can't be out in the open where you can kind of engage with the Lunar Blaster because the Charger will get you, but then you can't hide from the Charger because then the Lunar Blaster will sneak up on and try to get you around those ledges. So you really have to just be able to be able to keep track of where the Lunar Blaster is to work around that. But I think you nailed it right on the head. Just that nice splat from the Charger right at the beginning, because some of the most valuable splats you can get are on the zone. Because I think when they went down, it just painted and it caused so much of the zone to like just flip in their favor. It opened up a whole avenue for the rest of the team to rush forward.
Yeah, I think the big key for Abo here is possibly getting an early Crab, because Crab, I think on this map is really strong, and it's the only resource besides maybe the Pencil if they set up aggressively. Crab is the only resource they can use to sort of keep that leader in check and maybe bait out some more reactions from that Lunar Blaster that they can deal with. I think that's definitely the strategy that they should go for.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get that Crab going, be able to open things up. But I think if like it was the decav that got taken out quickly in that earlier match, but if they decav can really set up and get the bubbler going as well, because that will deny a lot of space for the Charger, and that will be able to kind of gain some of that open space back here. But I think it's just they do have to be more careful moving in and be able to kind of take the space, and just how fast that Lunar was able to move in. They didn't even have an opportunity to do that.
That is right indeed. All right, so our disconnected players finally rejoined the lobby. We can get back into the game. We'll see if the adaptations we discussed might be something that Abo have thought about, but I guess there's only one way to find out. It's time for the rerun of Game 2 of Zones Ramen We Go.
Take 2, we are logging on in here. They're not going to be seeing too many comp changes, but like you said, it's just going to be the strategy comps that are really going to have to come into play here. And they've already seen another disconnect from the side of Abo right out of the gate. And I think because that is their second disconnect, they have the opportunity? I don't think they have the opportunity to reset. They're playing like they don't have that.
They have to play a 3v4. It's unfortunate, but this is the circumstance they've been left with. And already the decav going down, trying to make use of that under the bridge side of the map, but it's not going to help, and the Luna's already surging forward, trying to take out both two with two birds, one stone. Acing is going to light up the kill feed, and it's looking like Abo will have to see if they can struggle through the lower bracket to make any way further through this tournament. Pastry's going to force one off the map. Hang on a minute, and it's got this flank on the left side. If they can get Geo here as well, not quite. Geo was posted up on the left side, Acing saw the flank and immediately shut it down. And now it's just spawn camping for Lunar Sirens. This game is truly done and dusted. Not if Pastry can say anything else about it, though.
I say this is the one I think trait that Ramen does share with Mahi, because we saw how well Luna Sirens were able to keep the lockdown going, and even if it was a 4v4 like this map, especially if you get a Luna right where it is right now, it just is so hard to drop in safely. Like you really have to expend a lot of resources just to break back in, and with a player down, it makes it even that much more easy for Lunar to take that space, keep the zone, and just get that second match.
Really unfortunate circumstances for Abo, but there were still signs. A couple plays where it looked like there was potential to get things going despite the player disadvantage. We saw Pastry dropping on the left, setting up bubble there. It was a good stall technique to drag some players out and ease the pressure on that right-hand side for their team, but unfortunately, the hold from the Lita posted up on the ramp is the range pressure, and the aim from Geo is just too much to handle for Abo, and that will secure the 2-0 for Lunar Sirens as they move on in the upper bracket.
I think something else, like watching this clip right here, Acing, we really just ran in and had no care in the world. And following up with the hammer plays as well, but just I think with the chart or the pencil and the splash trying to back up, they weren't expecting the Luna Blaster to be right on their tail, knowing exactly where they want to go with that, trying to play the range, and just would not give them that opportunity to do so. So the nice collateral right there just kind of set the tone for the rest of that match right there. I think like they had their specials, they had that crab ready to go. You know, Pastry was making some good plays up the left side. So I think even with the player down, they could have probably comboed that incredibly well. But just just Lunar was not given them opportunity to get any sort of push going.
Yeah, an unfortunate end for Abo. Lunar Sirens will press on. We'll see Abo try and make their way through the lower bracket, as that is the verdict of this round. But I guess while we have the time, how you doing, Ahmed? I didn't really get to ask. You said you were happy to be here, but how you doing? How's your day been?
Doing pretty good. A little sad that be home from Riptide, but I'm happy to be back. It always going to LANs just reinvigorates me to play more Splatoon, do more commentary and things like that. And so again, I am happy to be here. I'm excited to be watching and just commentating on some nice Splatoon action here. And I know with this kind of double elimination bracket, like we are going to be seeing kind of the cream of the crop of this tournament kind of rise and really face it out as we get closer to finals.
Yeah, and you mentioned Riptide. Honestly, seeing all the excitement on Twitter, not just for Splatoon, but for the other games that are being held there. Such a big event, such a joy to just observe from across the pond. But us over in Europe will have our fun soon in October with Oktoberfest. We'll have our moment. But yeah, no, Riptide really did look like a great event. I'm sure it was brilliant. If anyone in the Dapple chat had gone to Riptide, or is going to Oktoberfest, do let us know. And let us know what you're looking forward to as well. That'd be nice to hear from you guys.
For sure. I say it's gonna be exciting because there's that, but then also there's some online tournaments happening soon. I know that Nintendo has their big tournament hopping on. We have Triton-Cup today, and then some more stuff from Squid Junction on the weeklies, Pile and Pull and whatnot. So just so much cool stuff to tune into. Did I say Squid Junction? I meant Triton-Cup. Paddle and Pool and Triton-Cup. Squid Junction is no more. Rest in peace. Good run. They had a good run.
Yeah, unfortunately for Squid Junction, they're not playing the double elam format. So they had one life. Well, I say one. I guess 100 is a better way of putting it, because that's how many they ran. But yeah, going back more to the weekly talk. Of course, we're holding Triton weeklies now. As a weekly now, it's getting more of the high-level players and the top-level players to get involved. And with Paddling Pool every week, we're seeing sort of the same groups of players at the high-level scene sort of band together. Like, I think today we've got EZMD, which I will check the roster, but that's Devon and the crew. Yeah, that's Kiki, Devon, Silver, and Crowny running the show today as our Seed 1. We've got Camden as well, coming back after a while. Of course, no Risu, but still the main core. So it'll be interesting to see them later on as well. But yeah, it's nice to see a lot of the high-level players getting involved with the weekly content.
For sure. I know it'd be hard to kind of see that kind of attendance, but I didn't realize that Triton-Cup was a weekly now, but it is cool to see that happening, because I know that the all zones tournaments do tend to cater, or is more popular amongst the higher level folk. And so, yeah, I love to see them in action. And I feel like we get a little bit more diversity, because now you have fewer modes, so you got to supplement that with more maps. And just looking at the map pool for this next set, what is that? It's not Barnacle and Dime, the first one there. I always forget the name of that.
That'd be Brinewater.
Brinewater, there we go. Yeah, so don't see Brinewater too often, but there are some really fun plays to be seen. I know that back in the day, it was just crab on crab on crab on crab, but now we have a lot more development lately. And I think especially with the latest patch, kind of it's changed things up a bit. Like, I'm curious to see if we see some other additions. I know not too many. I know the Brella was the biggest one that people were really looking at, but not too many Brella mains lately. But I'm curious to see if people start picking it up again.
Yeah, I think with the new patch that just dropped very recently, and the combination of the third kits as well, it's allowed a lot more variety in team comp. So of course, next up we've got Distinct, our Seed 8 coming into this tournament. They've been making use of the inkjet that's been added to the bow, as Mooj is probably the most well-known at the moment for pushing the bow besides Arito over in NA. We've got EU's equivalent of Arito, I'd hope, is how I'd put it. But yeah, with the new bow on Distinct side, they've been making use of the inkjet a lot more push potential, a lot more stall potential with how powerful inkjet is. Of course, most notably, we saw it during the ballpoint meta where inkjet meta, sorry, where ballpoint was very strong pre-nerf. It's nice to see it back on some slightly different weapons, and it's not just the inkjet bow as well. Of course, there's the inkjet on the umbrella since that's been buffed again or reworked slightly. It might be interesting. Possibly we might see someone pull it out today, but guess what's more interesting, IMAD, is that we've not got our Seed 8 versus our expected Seed 9. It's our Seed 24 in iEclipse.
Oh, interesting. I say it definitely is a bit of I guess I can't even think of the right word, but it's like Eclipse. There's a little bit more to meet the eye because I'm looking at the roster here. I know that Fire there, pretty confident. Tenderbrella user. I know I've seen them in competitions prior, just really does well, and so I feel like they might be C20, but there's still some good talent in there. I think Distinct is definitely going to have some good competition coming into this next set. I'm just curious because a lot of the Tenderbrella comps that we see is like they definitely shake up the gameplay quite a bit. It's not what you're used to seeing.
Yeah, that is right indeed. Just going to wait a little bit longer for the players to get in the lobby while we wait for that to happen. I guess we'll talk more about the maps that we've got coming up, because past Brinewater, we've got some fairly interesting set of maps. I think we had Mahi before in the previous set, but Barnacle is making its appearance in game number 3, and we're definitely going there no matter what. So, I guess I'll throw a question to you about: do you think if Eclipse are running the Tenderbrella, do you think it's going to be very helpful for them on maps like Mahi and Barnacle? Maybe if Brinewater doesn't go their way, they might be able to claw things back in the next 2 maps.
I definitely think so, because I know there's another Tenderbrella using team, Moonlight. Definitely, they love going to Barnacle and Dime. Just the amount of open space there is, having that kind of extra shield, that movable barrier, just does open things up for them quite a bit, and it just makes a lot of other teams tend to struggle against that because they don't have that same kind of cover. It'll be interesting because on Mahi, like, you do have some open space in the second half, but it'll be curious to see if they're able to kind of build up momentum before the water drops, because I think like those tighter fights do tend to kind of go against like the Tenderbrella comps. They do flourish in those more open maps, and I feel like even Brinewater Springs, like, even though it is going to cater to the more long range weapons, it does also have a lot of open space for that Tenderbrella to work with.
Yeah, and as you say, when the map sort of opens up where the tent can get in behind from the side. So on Mahi, you've got the islands, but obviously when the water drops, the map becomes more open on both sides. On Barnacle, there's opportunity to take the path through left or right, getting onto the opponent's stack. We hopefully can see some of that in the games today. And also on Roman, it's a nice sort of just constant wall you're putting out in front of zone. Can irritate teams that run Pencil, perhaps. Obviously we're not going to see that from Distinct, but it's definitely got its uses. And of course, if we go to that game 5 Decider Hagglefish as well, Tent is really strong there. It's sort of just, constantly putting that wall up somewhere, denying the enemy team that space, making them look at the Tent, opening the floor for the rest of their team to get involved in pushing, in the offense, in popping some specials, getting some team fights going, using the Tent as bait to set up their own kills, their own opportunities. Hopefully we can see some of that from Eclipse tonight.
For sure. As something I wanted to kind of pick up on from what you said, Jason, the idea of like making the Tenderbrella, making the other team look at them, right? So like you have the very obvious, like, oh, it's a tank. It's able to just push the line when a lot of other weapons can't. But also, like, when they do have the control that they want, the Tenderbrella is also a really good distraction weapon, because you get into some of the more open maps, like, they're may be on zone for a little while, but their greatest strength is moving off a zone and diverting all of that attention away from the objective. And I feel like all the 3 of these first maps, they do that really well. With Hagglefish and Ramen, it'll be a little bit more difficult. Like, it has a really good fight, or a really good presence in mid where the zone is, but it kind of doesn't benefit as much from the off angles as much as it does for, you know, Barnacle and Dime for Mahi zone. So it is kind of taking that tanky role for those other 2 maps, but really it can play kind of a flexibility between tank and rat for these more open maps.
Yeah, I think if we circle back to what Moonlight sort of run, they have Omega on the decap as well, so they're running tent decap, so essentially they're just like cycling the HP walls, as is probably a good way of describing it, as the final player does finally join, so we can get started in just a moment. But yeah, we'll see if Eclipse are running a decapitator with the tent, see if they can constantly put up those walls in front of Distinct, sort of annoy them, make them get a little antsy. Because I think Distinct are definitely one of the more patient teams, despite I'd say for Afro. We'll come back to Afro, but I think the rest of them are a lot more patient, a lot more willing to sort of chill, you know, let the opponent take some space, wait for them to walk into like the absolute danger zone before they execute.
Yeah, and it is going to be interesting because, like, we do have Soul over on Distinct. It looks like they mainly do like brushes and rollers, which tends to be more of a shark, more of a rat, and that really does benefit from going for the kills. It doesn't really want to directly fight anyone, which is what a Tentabrilla wants. And so I think they'll have to not only watch out for that, but then also we have Rafa, who does a mix of buckets and swords, which are really good at like just kind of ignoring the tent shield and either chipping around it or chipping directly and damaging the shield. And then finally, like, just Afro, like you mentioned, does have some blasters in their back pocket. So just all of that, it really, not a whole lot of good paint control, but the amount of chip and the amount of AoE that they kind of bring to the table is, if Eclipse isn't able to set up that kind of presence, like Distinct is going to be able to kind of work around anything that Eclipse might throw out.
Yeah, you talk about that counterplay. We'll see if Distinct have the game plan drawn out in terms of dealing with this tent. But again, I suppose it does also come down to what they're building around that tent, of course. So I mentioned the decap earlier, but are they gonna what backline are they gonna run a backline at all, or are they gonna play with full aggression, trying to, you know, just play off of the space that the tent shield provides, or are they gonna let the tent sort of do what it wants and then focus, and then have the rest of the team focus on another side of the map? There's a lot of things to consider with tent, as our the renowned tent player we were discussing, Thaya, has finally joined the lobby, so we can get started.
I say it's curious that you bring up the backline, because I'm just looking at kind of their weapon pool right now. They don't really have a dedicated, you know, backline, quote unquote, that you typically see. No leader, no pencil, but they do have a Splatling player from, what was it? Ooh, I'm not even know if I can pronounce his name. Finau, but they have mini and edits ready to go, so that allows for a little bit more mobility, kind of can work with the tent, but also that will give them the kind of the paint that they want to deal with something like a roll or something like a brush, which does require a lot of team support to kind of be able to build off of that. Yeah,
if they're opting for the backlist, then I think they're probably going to be the polar opposite of Distinct, sort of, you know, lax play style, sort of just wait for Afro to, you know, take a timing, try and pick someone out who's rushing in too far before the rest of Distinct mobilize. Eclipse will probably do the opposite, play a lot more faster, try and just take as much space in a short time frame to, you know, stop the bow from poking at like key areas that they want to stand in, and 2, if Rafa's on that dread, which is a little more slow in terms of kill power, see if they can catch that out, and then see if they can put enough paint down at the same time all at once to stop the roller from, you know, getting into a position that might irritate Eclipse. As the timer is ticking down, we are due to start very, very soon. We'll be opening up on zones Brinewater, and it is battle time.
I say there's going to be a classic matchup of an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Which is which? We'll let you decide. All right, so we're seeing
Sorry, you first.
No, I was, I was looking at the bow that you called it right there. They're going to be bringing out that bow, which honestly does have quite a bit of presence. It's a bit underrated, but it does have that same kind of presence here on Brine Water that the Pencil and the Chargers have.
Yeah, and on the other side, I think Eclipse have opted for Paint Simulator, and that's already one down. That's the roller down, so they don't have to worry about any sharks, although Afro is behaving similarly and gets shut down. Fifi combines with their teammates, and it's just Rafa and Mooj on this right-hand side. Although the zone is in the favor of Distinct. Rafa trying to sneak behind on the Wiper here, dodges the Zuka and drops down to this left-hand side, trying to grab the attention of their opponents, but Thaya is going to pop the Zuka of their own, try and get this splat onto Afro, managing to find it. And now it is control for the side of Eclipse, but not before Tiger gets a trade onto Firecat. Rafa's alone in zone as they get the jump-ins.
Dang, I thought for sure that Distinct was able to cap that zone, but I think that the bubble, the contest the bubble, really kind of threw off their play a bit there. They do finally manage to cap the zone, but not before allowing Eclipse to get a couple more points off of there. And we see the Zuka matchup with Fire winning out, beating up the shot, and now 3 members of Distinct will be down with just the bow remaining. And now we're going to see Fire on that Tinderbell in its element, ready, just, well, trying to push up all the way up, clear some space. We do have the decav there to help clean things up, but it is going to do its job, just leaving Afro on that shot to kind of find a way out.
Yeah, that was a huge 3 kills there from Firecat, noticing that the tent had grabbed enough attention for them to sort of just swim through for ultimately no price at all, and managing to slice the heads of 3 of their opponents. But the chumps, they go down onto the zone for the side of Distinct, managing to neutral, but keeping the paint is the mini splatling, how good at painting it is. The roller drops into the zone, pops a bubble, and gets rid of the tent. That's one problem dealt with, and a flip for Distinct so quickly. And Tiger's moving to get this pen, hits them so weak, but they manage to escape with their life. That's still the Tacticooler potential to get a retake in for Eclipse, but Firecat is doing work on the other side of the map, unfortunately. Distinct is going 1 down behind them as well. Firecat's going to back away. That's 2 down for Distinct. They're really struggling as the penalty keeps ticking again and again.
Ooh, but a nice double from Afro there. They have to watch out for the decav, popping bubble right in their base now. They do manage to get a nice 3 down there, which is going to allow them to get back in, but I think that just the decav popping the bubble right where they did, it stalled the attention of Distinct for just a split second, allowing Eclipse to kind of come back in. They do have a hefty amount of penalties that got applied when Distinct took the zone, but like they don't have a good amount of foothold to kind of continue that. Like we do see Tiger on the bubbler looking for something, looking for splats, but just continuing to go down. 3 more off of Distinct, and now Fire and the mini splatling going to be just really pushed up here.
They're not to fall back because they didn't flank, although they haven't seen it's gone behind them and spawn. Ovni's checking it. Firecat's also in pursuit, but Rafa's hammer is going to take out both of them. That's the map torn wide open. A 3rd for Rafa. A big pop off with the Ultra Stamp, and that's going to give Distinct the chance to spawn camp, and lock out Eclipse.
I said this is an opportunity. This is the most amount of paint they've had all game, but with the roller and a wiper at that, kind of just sharking underneath that ledge, that is a dangerous position for Eclipse to be in. Now, they do have that Tinderbell, they do have the decav, which can kind of just force their way through, but if they're not looking out, like the roller taking out the cat right there, Firecat just going down to the shark, and it just leaves the mini and the pencil just trying to find some paint, find some more pushes in. So close for Distinct to be taking that lead, but Eclipse is not going to let them go without a fight.
Yeah, that's Zuka managing to take out the pencil. Afro wise to it, and going behind the tent shield is going to try and deal with Thaya in the zone. Is calling for help with the this way pings, and the Zuka from Ovni is going to clean that up, get it to 2nd, and that's a 3rd jump out with Tiger down as well. A retake, but at what cost? With a minute to go, the lead is in Distinct's favor. All it takes is 1 flip with such little time, and Distinct could just take this first game.
It's just the amount of coordination that Eclipse had right there. Like they had their backs to the wall, and it was really, again, just dangerous for them to kind of drop in unannounced, but they were able to take it right back. But they're already losing control of the zone, just a couple points away from taking the lead back. But with only 30 seconds left, like Distinct is in a really good position right now. If they can continue to keep Eclipse at bay, just keep the zone and their control for the next 20 seconds, continue to get these nice splats that they can take this match back by the skin of their teeth, and they are doing a heck of a time doing that right now.
Yeah, it's just the mini alive right now. The pencil and the tent both got taken down without cooler, so it's a stalled respawn as Rafa is just stalling out the mini, trying to bait out this Trizuka, but Ofni is running away, trying to focus on the flip. Instead, that's a big kill, and it might not be enough because the pen has gone down. Oh, sorry, the mini has gone down again. And despite the neutral, Eclipse couldn't do enough. The 2 picks on that final hold for Distinct secured them that victory, and they'll take the first game of this best of 5.
That, I have to say, was the most valuable stalemate I've ever seen in my life. Like, we had the wiper just right underneath the ledge, out of like the fire range of the mini there, and the mini was really their main painter. It was the one weapon that would just be able to flip the zone on its own, and Distinct knew that, and they just chose to stand there and continue to keep them at bay. And when they tried to move, like, they turned their back to it, and that just cost them their life right there. They potentially could have taken it back if they were able to kind of push in a little bit further. They could have easily sent it into overtime, but just once Distinct got set up, like, it was so hard to push them out, just so hard to flush out all the little rat weapons just sharking underneath their ledges.
Right, and I think Eclipse's retakes were most successful because obviously they've got the double Zuka on both the tent and the mini. I think they were relying on the mini in that particular situation to sort of have it popped and move some people out so they could put some pressure on zone and try and, initiate an overtime. But in that occasion, as we saw, Rafa was keeping them busy, and Ovni couldn't decide whether they wanted to play for their life or, pop the Zuka and risk getting taken down in that situation. We'll see it again on the highlight reel. They opted to run away and move back towards that snipe next to the pen, but unfortunately Rafa chased it all the way to the end and secured them that game win.
I think the biggest kind of table flipper for them was, like, we saw, Eclipse was set up in the zone, but then Distinct literally threw out every single special they had in the arsenal. We had the bubbler, we had the chumps going onto zone, and then the hammer throw coming out from the wiper just cleave someone's head right off with a couple of Zuka shots to finish off the rest. So it really did, like, flip the tide there. And once that kind of momentum was lost for Eclipse, like, they didn't really have that same opportunity to kind of retake it with the same chokehold that they had at the beginning of that match. But that is kind of like with Brinewater, it's one or the other. It's hard to have a very solid kind of back and forth, a good stalemate. It usually just tend to be like one has lots of control and the other is just trying to find a way to break back in. And just so happened that Distinct did it when it mattered, when the points mattered the most.
Yeah, I think another thing I want to highlight that Distinct are doing really well is instead of just dropping left from the snipe, they were just dropping far left into like the ramp area, make themselves harder to hit for the pen and the mini, so they can sort of just keep the enemy team on their toes. Rafa and Afro were cycling that very well, and what that does is that allows Mooch to get more pressure on the central areas, for example zone on this map, and it allows Tiger to get in and place a bubble down, which causes even more problems. It's a good way of just cycling stall techniques to keep things going.
Exactly. We're going to say that they seem to be getting the upper hand here. 3 down from Eclipse this time. And Distinct is going to be, I think, again, just like Eclipse taking advantage of these kind of close quarters fighting for this first half with the water so high. And just it's harder from Distinct. It's harder for Eclipse to kind of play around that. They have the 10 shield, able to kind of take the minimum amount of space. But, once they're in this position, it's going to be harder for them to drop in without their specials.
Yeah, but they do manage to open things up with that pick onto Rafa on this bottom right hand side. They've got to deal with Afro though, who has managed to find one, and the decap will only trade the roller in that bubble, so the bubble is still alive and there's still 2 members alive. Afro has just gone on a tear in this right hand side of the map, has managed to pick up 3 and will take this right side of island with Azuka, and Rafa's posted up on this left hand side calling that they're dropping off the spawn on this left, needs some help. He'll hold the final shot, Afro, and will just only miss this left hand side as the tent drops. It might cause some issues. They can't get this kill. Rafa is going to get taken down but traded out, and the zone is 10 ticks left, but they cannot move. That's no pain, and the drop. Sal is going to find the mini and end the game. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. I don't think Eclipse capped zone 1's. Distinct just held it for 100 points straight. And I think like the trade from that roller right at the end is like they, again, just a very valuable engagement that they're able to come out on top of. Like, I think with the 3 members down, they had some Zuka plays there, but just the midi was not ready for the shark right there. And so they didn't have the opportunity to paint that zone in those last couple of seconds.
Yeah, again, sort of they're not relying too much on the fact that they've got 2 Trizukas to work with, and it doesn't feel like Eclipse are making full use of it. They're playing more to take the fight to Distinct, where Distinct are already, setting up or moving into these positions that they notice that Eclipse aren't controlling, and Eclipse aren't respecting that fact, and as a result, they're getting punished on these drop-ins. And we saw Rafa and Afro getting active towards their spawn side as well, making things a nuisance and allowing sort of Mooj to paint around, set up for the Chumps or the Whale, whichever bow they choose. In this case, they took Chumps. And they still haven't brought out the Inkjet bow yet, which is what I'm surprised about. It might be a confidence factor, perhaps. Mooj might not be too confident in the Inkjet, but regardless, it's still working. They're up 2-0, and they're on match point.
Absolutely. I feel like, honestly, the Chumps have been working well for them because it kind of creates a lot of open space for their roller to work with. Like, they don't really need another Slayer special. They kind of just need a way to enable their front line to be able to get them in, because they're running Viper and Roller, both pretty short line weapons, and against a Tent Umbrella and a Decaf for that matter, just is very hard to get those engagements without a little push from behind, I feel like. So, like, anytime that the Chumps came out, we saw the Bubbler fall right behind it, and it was just free real estate for Distinct.
Yeah, can't think of any better words to describe that. It sort of just, besides the opening where Eclipse managed to get the zone flip, but that's a given because they're running the pen mini. They've got so much paint pressure and the decal on top of that. They can take control of the zone so easily, but once you get into post cap, it's like, what do you do? Like, because once they get the cap, what Eclipse are doing is they're trying to fish for the kills. They're pushing immediately when Distinct are aware of the fact that they can't get the zone immediately, so they're watching for those early pushes. And it's going to be the same here on Barnacle with the flank routes available for both sides. Distinct are going to be very aware of those, so wonder if there'll be some adjustments where maybe the Tent sort of sends the shield as a fake sometimes to bait some reactions from Distinct, or maybe we'll see the Decav playing a more shark heavy game like they did do towards the start of that game too. But it's already Afro running in and getting one, Rafa getting taken down the right side, and already so active is Tiger on the roller, taking that stack while Mooj is getting pressured from the other side. Sal will manage to find one, that's the mini down, no Zuka there. What's happening on the other side? It's Mooj winning that 1v1 against the Decav somehow, some way. Finds the pick and squished
Oh my goodness.
Here's the 10. Tiger taking no prisoners as the zone is already on towards 50.
Something I was going to say is, like, in this very opening fight, like, what Eclipse needed to do was realize that Distinct, they're going to move in quickly, they're going to come right at them, and they're going to look for those really early picks to keep things going, and that's exactly what they did. Like, we saw Thyre go into the zone, but just get out, I guess, rushed down by the Viper and the Roller, both just collapsing on them. And then once they kind of cleared out the tank, they were able to move into the snipe and take out both the mini and the pencil. And they're continuing to do so because they are at a stagger here. Distinct is pushed so far into Eclipse's base, they don't have any time to go in and take the zone back. So Distinct will take this set 3-0 in a very dominant fashion.
Very convincing for Distinct, looking very, very strong. Of course, they are playing this tournament probably in preparation for the upcoming UK LAN in 8 days' time, Splatwise Volume 3, happening in London. Shameless plug. But yeah, as we said, convincing from Distinct, looking very strong. No doubts about them. Fire and friends will be moving down to the lower bracket.
I still can't believe that Tiger just did the Tent Umbrella dirty like that. Like, they were really counting on the fact that they would miss their shots and just took the time to roll them down for just the psychological damage as well as the roller damage, and it worked out. Like, I think by that time, near the end of the match, Eclipse, they're a bit panicky. They're trying to make something happen but didn't have the player base or even the specials to kind of work with that. They're going in one-on-one trying to take these fights, and that's not what you really want to do against, especially a roller, but as with the Viper alongside that, just any sort of weapon that does really good at taking the damage at short range is you want to paint them out and just kind of expose them, make them back up before you drop.
Yeah. I think Eclipse weren't really trying to understand the Distinct game plan where they had multiple opportunities to do so. Of course, they had such a strong opening on that Prime Water. They were probably thinking to themselves that they had that Prime Water game in the bag, but a little bit of errors on that hold when they were trying to set up. They weren't spreading themselves out evenly and focusing their special resources in the right place. I think honestly their coordination with the Tentabrella on that Brinewater game wasn't terrible at all. They were playing off of it quite well, but I think into those next few games they sort of were like, since they'd gone 0-1 down already, they were thinking too much about, how can I individually sort of save this game when their team play was so much better on that Brinewater game, where they should have just kept running that going into maps 2 and 3, but unfortunately they do fall short here. But will get swept. As I said, it's lower bracket time for Eclipse.
Indeed, I feel like there was a bit of adjustment from Distinct's side as well. Like they were also kind of rushing in and just losing to the Decav tent engagements, just trying to take them on 1v1. But something clicked for them halfway through that first Brinewater match, that they were able to kind of figure out what Eclipse was their game plan and just kind of counter game plan them. And once they were able to stall them out of their own tactic, they just didn't really have a backup plan for when that happened.
Yeah. Currently waiting for another set to be finished before we continue on with the main cast. We're looking at Blank Z, who have made their way into the winners quarterfinal, I believe. I might be wrong. I think that's correct. Yeah, winners quarters. They're waiting for the result of I'm gonna butcher this name. Veni Vidi Vici, I believe. Or Veni Vidi Vici. Butchered that one. Sorry. But yeah, Blank Z have taken a 3-0 sweep over Court in 4K as they play continuing to their seed. But it is currently 1-1 between the seed 22 of the name I butchered against only Forever, who are the seed 6. Formerly known as Ozone. Any old heads who are in chat who are watching will know that group very well. But yeah, it's currently 1-1 in that set, and that is what we're waiting for.
And it looks like they just started their game 3, going to be on Inkblot. Ooh, actually, it's interesting because we see I've taken a little sneak peek in the player streams. We do have some players streaming this tournament as well, but some similar comms coming out from both of these teams, both of them running the slosher machine, or not the slosher, the vanilla slosher. So for Inkblot, that is a very nice combo to have because it gives you some nice ledge catching potentials. But it is 1-1, so we don't know which is more likely to take the W and move on to against Blanks here. I know they did have a very dominant performance in their own match, taking it 3-0. So it seems like they are definitely taking these games to the max here.
That's correct. Over on the other side of the bracket, we've got Camden 1-0 up against Zipcat in their winners quarterfinals match. Camden take that. They'll be moving on to play the winner of the set we'll see on stream in a moment. Seed 5 have just claimed their victory over Bobo's followers, who are Seed 21, and they will take on Noctis, Anger, Wasabi, and Tiny. Apologies if I got that wrong. In another winners quarters final that's being streamed over on Anger's point of view, so you can pull that up if you desire. And Seed 1 are currently fighting Seed 16 in winners round 3. The winner of that will take on Distinct, who we just saw play.
Very nice, very nice. Pick a POV of Canon versus Eve Canon Wordle. Oh my goodness. I say, if you haven't done your Wordle today, now's the time. Do it. Can you solve the Wordle before our beloved streamer can? That is your goal.
I did it in 5 today. I wasn't happy.
Oh no.
Yeah. I had a good streak going. I was doing it in 3 and 4 for like the past couple of days. I was really frustrated with myself. Wordle does that to you. Wordle just does that to you sometimes.
Oh yes. My kryptonite with Wordle is when they have the double letters. I never think to guess the double letter words until the very end, or I just never do, and then I just lose.
Big kill from Black A. There's 2 down for for Camden. Wavebreaker's can set up on plat. They've got such a nice hold here. They've delayed the respawns as well because I believe they won't call it Zipcat, and that's a big kill onto the pencil. And the Stamper's gone down as well. This is looking like it's going to be wrapped. And a 2-0 for Camden because Bake is going absolutely crazy. And this last poor Tame can't do anything to kill any of their opponents. And that's going to be a nice hold for Camden to go 2-0 up against Zipcat.
I say the leader just like single-handedly took them from 11 all the way to KO. That is crazy. Nicely played. I say like both pencil and leader, like when they have a good position on Hanglefish, it is so hard to get around them if they can hit all their shots. If they hit all your shots, you are just straight back to spawn immediately, and that's just how it is.
And the word has... No, I thought it was done. I forgot what the word was. I remember doing it in 5-5. I can't remember the word. I thought it was done. Quite literally a throw.
I admit I did guess it in 2 today, but that is a very rare occurrence for me.
Okay. No, are you one of those guys who just has a killer opener?
Yeah, and then I'm going to get it in 5 tomorrow. No, that's just how it's going to go. The streamer is thinking about it and trying every letter in the book. And that's what you got to do is like you get to a point where like your brain does not have any words left, so you got to just brute force your way through it. Yeah, I'm sure there's people who have already guessed their word today just thinking, what is this guy doing? Like, come on, it's so obvious and all of that. That's the thing, like, if you're watching someone play Wordle, it's the most obvious thing in the world. If you are actually playing Wordle, you just forget all your English. There we go. It's streamer will match me today. Maybe 5 is the wave. Maybe it's not about doing it right. Maybe it's just about not doing it as quick as few tries. It's just doing it. You know, it's getting it done. Exactly. As long as I can get the guess and not fail it, it's like I'm happy. Like that's my only goal. Never have I ever gotten it in 1. Like that's gonna be the day. You know, honestly, there's always one day where like someone gets it in 1 and it's just like, haha, I just guessed my opener. And it's just like, oh, we get it. Your opener's cool. Like people who brag about their openings on Wordle, I despise. I beef with them. I say there is. I'm not sure which is the better strategy. Like you have the one, as long as you know you open with a word that hasn't been used yet. Like there's the just use the same one every time, and eventually we get lucky. But like there's also something to be had for like having, just like a random word every single time, and so you have a greater, I guess, a higher percentage of potentially getting it right. But I'm gonna pretend I didn't see the top of the screen, and I'm gonna keep watching Bake's point of view for the ongoing set. Listen, we'll settle it in an OC 1v1 later tonight. Don't worry. Gosh, I was like, oh, but actually looking at the match though, like the Barnacle and Dime, that is another really fire E-leader map. Like with this particular E-leader, like really hitting every single shot that they have, they're not letting them get within an inch of the zone. They do manage to cap it though. Oh, and the Booyah's gonna take out Bake as well. And that's hang on a minute. Things might have just fallen into Zipcat's favor. Yeah, the jump out forced from the final from any member. And oh well, as soon as I say that, of course Bake is gonna hit the shot. When is Bake not gonna hit the shot? Right there. And there. Okay, maybe I should stop. I say you hit it 3 times in a row, but the one you miss is just what decides the game. Very unfortunate. Yeah, but that's what it is for Lito. Sometimes you get into a flow where you're just, hitting shot after shot, and then you get stints like this where your opponents are too close to you, so you can't charge up charge in time. But never mind, just run into people and place a mine down and chip them down. You can do that too. That's it. Especially when you see like the Kraken either, it's really funny to see the frontline leader in play, because they're the ones who are first to take up position when there's even one player down, and they can get away with that because of their Beacon Krakens. But they do, like, those are the leaders that do hit like literally every single shot they have. 100% accuracy.
Yeah, but I do think on the flip side that there are some elites that play the vanilla one, like we see Bucky here playing the Wavebreaker one, where you sort of take these aggressive positions, and then because you're up and you're getting kills so often that you're just charging your Wavebreaker constantly, you can constantly just throw your Wavebreaker out of part of the map and just deny so much space, so you can keep doing this kind of stuff where you're playing so aggressively, even though the zone's about to KO, so the elite doesn't really need to give up their life here. It's still posting up on this position, and will keep that crab out and keep it focused on the stack, and that earns Camden their 3-0 win.
That is a good point, and it just with the kind of vanilla kit, it does keep that space a whole lot better, because I think you can potentially get some more aggressive picks with the Kraken, but you kind of lose the space that you were holding at a moment ago when you do pop it. All right, currently we have 2-1 for our set we are waiting on, but it looks like, yeah, the leader team going to be moving on with a nice win there. Get really good place from there. Oh my goodness, 27 on the is that 27, or am I reading that correctly?
Oh my gosh, I didn't catch it. Streamer, please confirm. I don't see the KD. Oh, it's lucky fire. I'm sure he did. I have no doubt in my mind. Oh yeah, I didn't get to address the overlay as well. Didn't look at it until now. Oh yeah, speaking of the Raichu on the left, if anyone caught the direct earlier today.
Yes.
Seen the new Megas being revealed. I was super excited about that, bro. That Mega Greninja looks so awesome.
Oh my god, I missed that. I saw the Raichu. I didn't see Greninja.
Yeah, Greninja's pretty cool. The trailer, yeah, they did drop the trailer. You can just search up on YouTube, you'll find it. But yeah, I'm glad that the Kalos starters got Megas. They look awesome. They look really nice.
I said at this point they probably have like it broken down. Like you see the original stream, but then they also probably have every single game broken down into their own little video. So now's the time to kind of pick and choose what is you most excited for. It's a lot of Mario and a lot of Pokemon coming up.
Yeah, that director was definitely really entertaining. Yeah, and as you say, a lot of Mario content, especially the Galaxy 102 remakes and the Mario Galaxy movie as well, sort of the sequel to the original Mario Bros. Movie. It's a lot of exciting stuff happening heading into the winter and into the new year. Super exciting. No Splatoon news though, unfortunately.
Wasn't
too happy about that.
Yeah, that was like, I think what everyone was waiting for was more Splatoon content. It's like, especially if they want to release it next year, like. But if they make up for it by having just a whole Splatoon direct, I am okay with that. Every time they cut the music, I was just hoping that, like, because when they cut the music and went to a black screen, I'm like, please tell me it's Raiders. Is it now? I totally get that. Like in the VC I was in with my friends who we were watch fighting together, I was screaming, "It's gotta be Raiders! It's gotta be!" And then I was trolled by our farming sim. Such is the life of a direct viewer. I was super excited for the Monster Hunter stuff as well. Yeah, the Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing sort of rip-offs as well. But yeah, I'm a big Monster Hunter fan personally, so I was happy to see a bit more stories, content. I like how it's looking personally. Have we got any Monster Hunter fans in chat? Any grinders? Oh yeah, the Ditto game, that's right. I was trying to figure out what the premise of that game was. From what other people describe it, it's like a Animal Crossing esque game by the looks of it. But I was like, are we gonna? When I saw the opening, it's like, oh, are we gonna see a Ditto fighting Pokemon pretending to be a trainer? But no, I think it is more of a. I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, well, back on topic. Seed 1 have managed to take down Seed 16. So that's Devon and friends moving on to fight Distinct in winners round 4. We'll be moving on to Blank Z versus For Only Forever, who managed to get that 3-1 win over seed number 22.
and that is the match we are going to watch. So I'm at back into the put the caster hat back on and let's talk, because you pointed out the comp that sort of both teams were running, and of For Only Forever came out on top. What did you like about what you saw from For Only Forever?
I'm trying to remember, because I saw both comps, but then I forgot to distinguish which team had which comp. I know that I don't know if it was only, I think it might have been. I saw a Dread V-Bucket combo, double bucket combo from one of the teams. I don't know if it was this one, but I feel like that was definitely a very interesting one, especially going on to Mako Mart, where not only is the Reef Slide really good for capping the zone, but just the double bucket has so much ledge control. Like, same way that Carbon or a Roller can have a lot of ledge control, just the buckets are able to keep so much space in Mako Mart because they don't need to be up on the ledge to be able to control it.
Yeah, and it's not just Mako Mart, where if they are running this double bucket that you pointed out, they've not just got Mako Mart, but they've got Humpback as well to work with. That's two very nice slosher maps that they can quite literally just abuse to the fullest, with the changes in elevation and working out so nicely for both Dread and Bucket. And Reslider is very, very strong on Humpback as well. So yeah, maybe this For Only Forever team might do some damage to this Blank Zed, potentially take the set. We'll just have to wait and see. We've got Mako Mart first, as we discussed. I guess let's talk a bit about Blank Zed as well, because they like to run this strange comp where I believe in zones they tend to run Junior a lot more often. They run Junior and they pair that up with sometimes a heavy edit, so they have the cooler option, or sometimes they like to run the bubble Hydra Splatling as well.
Indeed. And okay. As in now I got the gears turning, because some of these maps, especially with that bubble Hydra, just it's a very slow weapon to get set up, but when it does, it can be a very strong force to contend against. Especially if, I think we did see either Pencil being played in the last set, but really even a Pencil has trouble kind of contesting that range and damage that a Hydra has. And so it is going to be a matter of getting either like a very consistent control of space or a very quick control space to allow the Hydra to set up. I think Humpback Zones is going to be the big one to watch out for, because just a Hydra in mid is nigh untouchable. It can just touch the whole rim of the map with its range.
Yeah, that, and I'm also looking at this Hagglefish as well. If they get set up there, the Hydra, and if they're running Junior Hydra as well, the double bubble on such a tight map would fit Blank Zed so nicely. And that sort of chain into Hagglefish into Humpback is just like, I think the heavens are open for them. I think they're being gifted the god maps for the Blank Zed system. As teams are starting to ready up now. We'll turn back towards more towards this Mako Mart, excuse me. And I think this is probably one of the weaker Hydra maps, so we might still see the Junior, but I think this is probably one of the opportunities where Blank Zed will run the heavy edit and have that cooler option available.
Indeed. So this is best of 3. I know that Blank Z was able to move on in like 3 matches, but I know this will depend on the matchup. But For Only Forever, taking it to the game 4 that they did, like they definitely had a kind of more closely contested matches. But we haven't been able to see what Blank Z is running just yet, so it'd be interesting to see how their comp pairs up with For Only Forever. And I do know we are going to be guaranteed at least the vanilla bucket like we were talking about before, so that'll be interesting to watch. And if we do manage to take it all the way to that game 5, like that is going to be the most interesting to watch, I think, because like the unique structure of ship shape on zones, you see a lot of teams, they have to either change up their strategy or change up their comp quite drastically.
Yeah, and there we go. We are underway. We're looking at a 52 gal bucket Dapple comp. So very, very aggressive from Blank Zed, typical to their normal style where they play to stall out. And we've got a Zap bucket for the side of For Only Forever. As we get started on this Mako zones. 1 opening on the left, 2 on the right. Taking early pressure is Blank Zed. The Gal and the Dapple pushing towards this right side. Going to take this team fight and take down the bucket on the start. The rotate coming through for For Only Forever. And managing to find the trade, but it's still even Stevens as we start our Mako Mart game.
Ooh, already off to a quick start. Oh my goodness. we do see first, yeah, just the backline that's comp from Only Forever. Like both of these teams are just looking for the speed right now, but it is going to be Only Forever getting that nice 3 down. The edit though was really kicking the space that they got. Like they were not backing down, and with 2 members down, that was going to open up a huge door for the rest of the team to push in.
Yeah, they do get the zone flip and camping the dually jump in as well. It's 3v2 for the side of Blank Z. They've got a reslider to work with, and the corner set out for Only Forever is going to get not punished because the reslider was out too late. The Zap able to rotate away from the reslider in time, but this bucket is taking pressure onto this edit, gets the kill. Another down on the left-hand side, and the Dapple's trying to trade out this final person. It's still bottom right alone. It's the 52. Oh no, it's the bucket and the 52 together, but the Gao didn't realize how fast they were getting pressured, and that's 2 down for the side of Blank Z, and they're going to have to play for another retake here as for Only Forever set up this lead and set up this crab.
Ooh, okay. That's going to be a nice crab position from the duelies. I know most, like, 50-50 with the backlines have a good time on Malco here, but I think Crab just consistently has some really good positions to work with, especially on the stacks right now. It just shuts down the whole right side of the map. But with it running out here, we're going to be seeing the nice reslider coming in, getting 2 right on the zone, but they're going to be losing. They do have the zone flip, but they're going to be losing half their members in that after fight right there.
Some nice foresight from the strikes there, putting one into the zone, knowing where the reslider was going. Put some paint down and deny that flip. There's not enough special power on that Dapple build to get that job done, but unfortunately the cleanup from the rest of the Blank Z members was there to get the flip. But still, they're just staggering constantly. The edit's going to be forced to jump out, and it's just the rest of their teammates falling in front of their very eyes with the double strikes. For Only Forever are going to set up again, constantly putting that paint pressure on Blank Z.
Oh my gosh, it is going to very highly contested, like Only Forever. They are in their base right now. Strikes are coming out. 3 members of Blank Z trying to just flush out that right side. The strikes are going to be coming out. The reslider will be coming out on top of that, but they just used their guns and paint the zone. They were not able to take it back.
Not able to take it back, but they find the picks regardless. The crab is going to be wasted, and the jump is going to get punished. A wipeout for Blank Z. Somehow, despite the fumble on capping the zone with the reslider, they managed to find the kills when it matters, and they've got themselves a hold. They've not really got good specials to do that, though. It's on Lucky Fire to get this early pick onto the left, and they do. Traded out by the Dapple.
Blanks coming in right now. They're keeping the space. They're looking for those fights right now. Strikes are going to contest the zone, but with 2 members down, make that 3 members down, they are able to keep their player count up, able to just keep this fight base over here. The corner going to get flushed out before they can build into the strikes, but they're going to have to watch out because we do see the other bucket with strikes on hand and a crab ready to go, and they're going to be popped right here, looking to recap the zone once again before Blanks can retake the zone, but the reslider is going to say no. They're going to take 2 members down and a strikes to boot. They are going to be taking this zone, or this lead right here, and are just a couple points away from the KO. One more chance for Only Forever, and they are going to not cap it in time. Oh my goodness, right at the last second.
Very frustrating, because I think the Tentatek went down, or the Octo Shot in this case. Same kit. The Octo Shot had already gone down so early before the retake even started and without cooler, so they were so far away from the strikes that the bucket sort of just panicked. It was like, oh, well, we've got to go with something, and sort of just panic popped them on zone. Kind of accepted the fact that they couldn't get the proper retake they wanted and get the flip that they needed so desperately in that moment. It was well played from Blank Z to notice that as long as they take down one of the strikes players, they can still paint over the other set.
I think it's interesting because we do see, we have the double strikes coming out for Only Forever, and then the reef strikes combo from Blanks, but just like you said, just they didn't even rely on any of that to contest all the specials that are coming out. They were able to use their main weapon power, and I think that with the backline of this comp, especially with like the 52 and the Dapple, is just they have a lot of paint output. Like they are able to keep up with it.
I think another error that led to the Only Forever demise was it was nice from Lucky to start taking pressure on that left stack and grab some attention, but unfortunately none of their teammates were aware that that situation was unfolding. We're a bit late to the help, which is why the Dapple was able to get that trade out instead of sort of a clean retake on left with just the manpower. It would have been nice if they got that set up so they didn't have to waste so many resources just trying to, desperately cap the zone. We are going to turn to Hagglefish zones now, where I think now that Blanks are 1-0 up, I think they're feeling confident. They might bust out the Hydra now. I think it's time for them to to show what they really run and how annoying they can truly be.
I was like, this is definitely the map to do. I know Malcolmart, especially trying to retake in the mid, can be hard with really any splatling has a bit of a disadvantage going into Malcolmart, but I think definitely Hacklefish would be the map to start bringing it out. If they're able to keep the space, take the space, then they have a lot of space to work with.
They are going to stick with the edit here. I think recognizing that I don't think they're playing with their junior player today, so recognizing that the solid paint output isn't always there, so the edit is sort of, filling in for that role.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to see instead of Doolies this time, instead of the Dapples.
Yeah, deciding to bring
and a
out
Rapid on the inside, sorry.
I say that's definitely a more drastic change from Only Forever. Like with the Rapid coming out and the Forge Pro as well, like they're really going for kind of a more range game than trying to be fast and aggressive. But that might be their downfall as we have the Doolies still doing Dooley things up in their base, but they are going to be shut down here before they can pop that crab tank. And so now Only Forever going to be coming back in. If they can survive those strikes, they do not. And so the zone is going to flip back into Blank's favor.
Yeah, some free paint is going to set up the cooler for Blank's Head. And also the other thing I've noticed that they've got double cooler comp. They're sort of just relying on taking the fight so heavily when it wasn't really working out for them before. Maybe a sort of misunderstanding from For Only Forever, as they're going to finally take out that Dooley, but not before the Dooley trades out the Zap. That's one of the coolers out of the way. They're sort of using their strategy from before with the strikes and just using it to sort of stall out the coolers instead.
Indeed, they are. I feel like that's interesting that they're running the double coolers. They don't really have weapons that can take advantage of that kind of fast-paced aggression. Like right now, we have Blanks. They're just really pushed up, really getting underneath their base. But Dooley is really the only kind of weapon that can really dive down on them. Like the rest of the team really wants to play for that paint, really want to play for that range. And at the moment, they just don't have any space to use that right now. They're just getting completely flushed out by Blanks here. And with 3 members down, not even the Booyah Bomb can cap that zone. So Blanks is just going to take a very deciding game 2. Yeah,
I think it's definitely a mishap from the comp choice there from the side of For Only Forever. It was a lot more difficult for them to sort of get involved with the double cooler. They're lacking the specials they can use to take space and put pressure on their own. They're relying solely on the Booyah Bomb to get that job done. And I believe, they were still running the Dooley, so I wasn't seeing enough of that crab to sort of make up for the fact that they were lacking in retake options.
Yeah, I think like if they're able to kind of get those crab tanks out and just combo with their rapid blaster, they could have gotten some nice splats. But I think like they were too much trying to take those like individual fights, and with a comp like that, it doesn't really, especially against a like Doolies and Gal and Bucket, like all of them really excel at taking really good one-on-one fights. And just like they do have the Dooley on their side, but nothing else really can kind of contest with that when you have 3 just really aggressive players.
Right, and Blanks are taking full advantage of that. They recognize that the edit's got that back, and once the cooler's down, or once they see the opportunity, they just walked straight through zone. I don't even think they dropped on a flank at all. They sort of walked through zone, and For Only Forever were too slow to sort of deal with that, and that set things in motion for Blanks to steamroll that game. As we head into game 3, we're on to Humpback now. Maybe we'll see a change that will help For Only Forever start their reverse sweep.
Ooh, once again, we're seeing a Dooley swap up, going from V Doolies to Tetra Doolies right now. Going to be bringing back the Reslider, which honestly is going to be a really strong pick for this particular map. But Only Forever, once again, going back to kind of the short range aggressive comp, bringing back the double strikes, kind of hoping they can, I guess, kind of really utilize the terrain of Humpback to take these fights here. But already we're seeing both buckets trade out.
Both buckets out. Gal holding the zone on one side, and the Tetra's going in from the other, forcing one jump out, but they're diving onto the enemy team, and For Only Forever, they're getting another pick, and they're already setting up their hold so quickly. They have transitioned from that neutral to that offense. With the strikes on zone, it's going to put some paint down. The restarter from behind isn't going to catch anyone, unfortunately. Morty not going to get lucky there. Still trying to hold onto the zones. The crabs come out, and Morty's just shredding it with the team an assist. And they managed to find the pick. And still, the lead is going to flip for Only Forever, but looks like... excuse me, the Blanks Head are in advantage with that kill onto the Dooley. That's 2 down. in staggered fashion. Not what you want to see for Only Forever. They've got to mount another proper retake in. They've got to clear out this left-hand side.
I think one of the things that you kind of brought up in the last game that's really giving Blanks the advantage here is having that edit. Like, they don't have a full dedicated backline, but with going up against a backlineless comp like Only Forever is running, it just having that little bit extra range can be the anchor to keep the space. You know, the rest of the team goes in, takes fights, and if they go down, they just jump right back in because their edit is there, holding strong. But Only Forever really, with the forward comp like this, like, they really bank on being able to take a lot of their fights, be able to win a lot of their engagements, and right now they've really been trading out more than anything else. And when they don't have that kind of anchor to keep keep their momentum going for them, like, they aren't able to break back in quite as easily as Blanks are. That being said, the points are incredibly close right now. Only Forever is just trying to pair up and take some of these fights in the lower area out of the range of that edit.
Yeah, as you say, behind cover is where the edit can't pressure them, and they're putting strikes onto this edit as well, keeping them as far away from their team as possible, and it's helping them so much. For Only Forever, managing to find 2 picks. It's just the cooler on the left-hand side, and they're going to squeeze on it slowly but surely, try and bait out this reef slider if they can help it. Multi is wise, doesn't press the right stick in panic, is going to come back with cooler, so there's a retake opportunity. But with the strikes down as well, diving without cooler, it's just the gal on the left. And Tetra jumping in behind, trying to put this reef slider onto zone. There's enough paint that might just cap it. No, not quite. They're still in contention.
They're trying to pair the reslide with the 52 on the other side of the zone, but as soon as they went down, their paint got halved, and so the NZAP is going to be painting over that. But now they are back, able to respawn back in, take a couple more fights, and then recap that zone, putting a nice 60 penalty on for Only Forever. But they are once again 3 members down. It is just the edit. If they are just putting on the pressure, the edit is going to get one. Can they get the other? No, they do not. The zap and the bucket are going to be just flushing them out. And right now, Blanks kind of have a bit of a reset they got to go through. They can't just rush in unless they get staggered here. So they're waiting for their opening to break back in.
Yeah, I think at the heat of the moment, I think that for Only Forever could have just KO'd there, because I think the mistake was the Dooley popping that crab, not recognizing that it was a 2v2 where they just needed to stall out the zone, wait for their team to get back in. But popping the crab reduces the amount of paint you can put on the zone, and that allowed Blanks to get that retake going. And now they've got a hold going as well. Somehow the tables have turned, the whale's coming out. The multi is going to try and get this zap out of contention, but a drop onto this drop is 2 down on the right hand side, and a trade out. How? The bomb kills 2 in the wall, I think.
It's just going to be the zap remains, but that's going to give Blanks another opportunity to kind of keep the space they have. But I think just all of them, like all of Only Forever, shifting right there instead of focusing on the dually, kind of offset Blanks' plan right there, because they were able to get back in. The strike's going to cap the zone momentarily, send it to neutral, and they're going to rush in with another set of strikes to just finish it off and apply some more penalty to Blanks as we get into the 40 seconds here. But it was such a crucial, I think, play right there not to focus on the Tetra duels and just go for the zone.
Right, indeed. And of course, they put both set of strikes on the zone, one to neutral them and one to finally get the cap after they move the opponents off of the zone. Cooler's going down, but the strike has gone down as well. There's the bucket being taken out. They've got a reslider, but they need to put a pay on the zone, and they've not got enough time. But they're not moving. They need to go now with the zone so low. Finally, they drop in. The reslider is only going to neutral the zone, but it might not be enough because Multi's dead, and so is another on the side of... Hang on a minute. They managed to find the pick on the zap. That's still a cap and an OT. Initiated, excuse me.
Oh, the bucket almost able to jump out there with their strikes, but not quite enough. We do see strikes coming online for Blanks here, and 2 members on the the left side of Only Forever's base. But we're seeing the crab saying not on, not even going to worry about it. Going to pop crab on the right side. Strike coming into zone, and they are going to cap it and keep their lead, taking game 3 and still in this set.
Yeah, Blanks definitely wants to play for kills there, not recognizing how quick for Only Forever were to get their strikes out onto the zone. In that panic of just initiating the overtime where, you know, you start to make decisions that you regret seconds later. In the heat of the moment, Blanks missed their opportunity to complete the sweep. And we'll go to a game number 4.
I said, near the end there, like, you know, we had a lot of just like kind of scruffy fights in the lower areas for the first half of that match. But I think when Blanks was starting to take advantage and start to get a lot of momentum going, they were sending their players up the right side, which is what you do. You go in, you start to take the base. But I think again, just the key moments for Only Forever that they allow them to kind of get the upper hand was they saw that flank and realized that that's 2 players not on zone right now. And so they were to come in from the right side, and they waited to like really get their specials online. They threw the strikes into the zone before they dropped in, and that kind of chaos, that kind of momentum break that they had there just really left blanks floundering, and so they weren't able to kind of respond in time. And so that is going to give them that game 3 here, and going into Robin zones, I'm curious how that's going to play out, because I think in a 1v1 fight, Blank Sea does still have that upper hand.
Right, but you look at this map like Roman, you're thinking, well, double strikes work just as well as they did in Humpback. This is brilliant for Only Forever. They've got the comp they need to bring this to a 5. I think if they keep up what they're doing, just keep that paint pressure, and the sort of plays they set up, not just using strikes to cap the zone, but using strikes to separate that edit we saw earlier. They separated the edit from the rest of their team, and then they piled on that left drop and managing to get 2 very big kills to hope to extend their lead by so much. Which again, things like that matter when you get later into the later stages of the game, where you get overtimes where the opponent has so much work to do, and you're just sitting there like, yeah, we've got 2 sets of strikes, we're comfortable. We just need to, wait for the right moment, wait for our opponents to overextend, and then put the strikes on, which is what they did. And they're looking probably to do that again here on this Roman. No comp change for either team. I think Blanks are confident they can close this out, but for Only Forever, also confident they can take this to 5.
I'm looking at the weapon, or sorry, the gears that's coming out. I did notice as we hit 30 seconds in the last match, the amount of bombs kind of quadrupled coming out from Only Forever. We do have both of our shooters running that LDE, and I think like that end game amount of paint that they had really did play in their favor. It's just a matter of they have to kind of play the long game and not fall to the oppressive power that Blank Sea is happening, and they're doing that right now. They're just waiting for Blank Sea to kind of make a move and just punishing them for it.
And you mentioned that Blank Sea would have the upper hand in the 1v1s. They've just taken a few 1v1s and lost them all, and then the team fight they took on their own ramp has gone fizzling out of proportion as well. They're stuck in their spawn as a result, and only half the zone left to go for Only Forever. Cooler's out. Blaze looking to pop some strikes to get rid of this crab, but top right, Lucky is set up, is going to have to drop away. I think managing to find the pick on the Tetra with a trade. Still going to earn space for Blank Z to walk their way through, but with no set of strikes, it's hard to put any more pressure on the zone. They just have to go for the kills. And they're not finding them, I think, but the restarter might just do it. And there it is, the zone flip just about.
Going to be Captain Zone right at 17, getting 3 down as well, just to kind of stop that push in its tracks. It was getting pretty scary for them right there. I think like the team plays, I think that is the most crucial part right there, is like Only Forever, they stuck together and they took the team fights really well. They didn't let Blank Sea kind of split them up, especially with a Tetra duel that really shines when it's able to draw attention. They just didn't let them distract them too much, and now once again they're punishing them for their overextension, and they're going to be just popping that crab to get the zap into zone and paint it.
Yeah, Letty finally getting their set of strikes that was swapped out for Basses earlier, who unfortunately did go down to them. I thought that might have caused some problems as I was looking on the spec cam, but it hasn't, because they managed to get a flip anyway, as this 52 Gal is fighting alone with the edit in support. Bass is going to drop it, overextend, is going to get punished for that, and Gal is going to take... No, he's playing from underneath, excuse me. And the Bucket's going to get punished from this jump in from the Edit's deathbed. The Gal's still alive, and so is Multi on the bottom left-hand side with the Tetra. But it's another 2v1 taken, and Multi is stuck with a reslider, managing to get it out in time. The fights have fallen into the favor of Blank Z. Another 1v1 win. There we go, starting to find their stride, Blank Z. And they've got light penalty here, chance to take the lead. They've just got to get the... As I said, they've got to get a kill on one of these strikes, guys, and make sure the other one doesn't get enough to get a cap or a flip of some kind, or even a neutral, because that will unsettle them so much.
For sure. A nice splat from the crab right there. I think what is really giving Only Forever an edge right now is like they're not letting... They have the strikes, right? They have the double strikes, but they're not passively just sending them out. It's like anytime there is a strike online is either followed up with a crab or 1 or 2 of the players pushing in and looking for the fights as the Blank Sea is moving to get out of the way here. And so it just, right now with that lead that they have, like continuing to reset the zone in their favor is just going to be playing, they're stalling them out for this end game right now. And once again, getting another nice fight, another jump canceled here. And so if they can get the reslider out of the way, they are going to be sitting really pretty.
And as you say, it's just the strikes are out and someone's moving with it. Got the pick so early, and it's an end game that they started playing from 2 minutes to go. An end game with literally just under half the game. It's incredible how they've set this up so well with their first push. the re-slide is going to get cancelled. But again, it's just another flip where they can get the easy pick and just flip the zone again. They can cycle this for however long they want to. Blank said have got to get better. They've got to get these cleaner kills in these 1v1 situations. The Gao's going to start this, but it looks like finally there we go. Another set of clean kills is going to come their way, and a big pick from Blader X is going to set up Blank Zed's push into the spawn, punished so quickly by For Only Forever as they get the trades out, and they've got another set. I've got a crab up, and they've surely got another set of strikes in the bag. They'll be perfectly happy to sit there, but not if it gets cancelled.
Oh no!
But there it is, the double strikes. It's not going to allow any more points to be taken. Just when you thought Blank Zed had found the pick they needed, it was not the right one. The strikes were still up, both of them, in fact, adding insult to injuries. For Only Forever just saying that, yeah, you can kill our crab, but we still got the strikes in our arsenal.
Oh, no, that was a crazy set of events. All right, we're going to get into 30 seconds here, so that's going to put a lot more pain output from Only Forever. But like you said, like the crab came out, got canceled, and they responded in turn with 6 nuclear weapons of mass destruction. and that just really split Blanks up. We saw the fight from the bucket down the left side. They're going to throw the reslider out, but again, our left alone is just going to be canceled, and it's going to be game for Only Forever. Just they really excel at again the team fights. They're not letting them take these one-on-ones. As soon as like Blanks tries to push in and take fights, they throw out specials to split them up. They make sure that every single engagement so far has been like a 2v1 or a 3v1.
Yeah, and you mentioned that earlier in the set as they went 0-2 down, you were looking more towards For Only Forever to start coordinating more, and they've done exactly that, showing the experience they have as seasoned players in our scene against this perhaps more inexperienced Blank Zed comp, or Blank Zed team. As we get our game 5, we made it. It's been a great set. We've seen what Blank Zed can do when they get these lockouts and they shut down their opponents, taking so many 1v1 situations and just winning them outright, exerting their dominance is mechanically better. But then we've seen the comeback from For Only Forever with their team plays and their stall game plan. It's a nice contrast that we've seen that's brought us to this final tiebreaker game.
Indeed, and again, I am excited to see how this plays out on Shipshape, because so far both these teams have been pretty comfortable in their weapon comps. But again, Shipshape is such a unique map. I'd say even more unique than Humpback, that some of the most like standard team comps usually throw in some sort of curveball to kind of account for the advantage point you have on Shipshape. Like when you have a good control of that center space, is really difficult for the other team to kind of break back in without some sort of, at the very least, a game plan, if not a special or two. And so it is Only Forever, like they pretty much have been running backline this the whole time, and I think that can work here. But how is that going to contend against not only the edit for Blank Z, but how is Blank Z going to be able to kind of respond and turn out that their team strat has not been working so far?
Yeah, I think what they'll be looking to utilize on this map is I think they'll have this game plan of sort of the edit sort of just chilling in front of zone, trying to bait out someone to walk forward. And while that's happening, I think the players on Blank Z will be dropping on flanks constantly. They'll be going from that top, dropping from that right side, or crossing from the top of mid onto the left side to cause some havoc on the side, on the enemy side. Excuse me. Same comp from both teams. Both teams very confident they can close us out with what they're running. Opening start is going to be 2 for the top right for Blank Z. They're going to drop immediately onto this right side, as I predicted. And unfortunately, Ozone were aware of that. They've taken them out, and they've got this setup. And again, they just took the page out of Blank Z's book. They saw the right flank, well, they didn't work. So it didn't work for them, so why don't we try it? It's just Lucky Fire on their own is going to try to hold this down. A jump in from the Zap, unfortunately, going to get taken out, but it's Lucky is stalling enough for, I think, 66. Enough time for the rest of their teammates to get back in, as Bass is trying to stem the bleeding, but it looks like Blank Z are going to set up finally on the top left. They've got to crab out the strikes in response. He's going to try to flush out any of the opposing members of For Only Forever. Is going to have to drop out in the end, but Blank Z have finally got some stability after that sort of shaky opening.
I think that was the key play right there. I think like you call the aggressive start from Blank Z, but I think that Only Forever choosing to kind of punish that rather than try to be aggressive themselves. Like that's kind of what is giving them that edge right now. They do have, they did lose the lead right there, but like they played for the long game. Now they're taking so much space, canceling these jumps that are coming in, and I think like if they're able to keep Blank Z kind of staggered, that's really what they want to do, because they do rely quite a bit on their mechanical skill and their one-on-one engagements to take these fights here, and just the sheer overwhelming power of these specials coming out are just not giving them any room to breathe.
At the hold and the pick onto the gal as well. That's most of the aggression taken care of, and the dually as well, and 3 down in the zone. No, the bucket managing to find one, but traded out. It's just the edit left. And just like that, I think that might be game if the edit can cook something up here. But no, with the time ticking down, there's not enough distance. And a reverse sweep for your French players, formerly known as Ozone, but today they are for only and forever.
Wow. Very, very well played. I think they definitely took them a bit of time to kind of adapt to blanks there. We did see the quite... in the second game, that really drastic team comp change, and maybe that was just a Hagglefish specific thing, but I think like they did decide to stick with what they know, stick with their guns, and this comp that they've had so far in these last couple of games really has been working out for them. It just the mental shift of figuring out how they want to approach this really did change how these games were played out, and especially going into this last match, just something that Blanks weren't able to keep up with it. That being said, they still have a losers bracket run left to go, so they're not out quite yet, but that is something to kind of take away and learn from going into the next couple of sets here.
Indeed. So Fortnite Forever have booked themselves a date with Camden in their winners semis. Easy MD will be taking on Chocolate Vanilla, our seed number 5, in the other winners finals. Yeah, Blankset will be waiting in the lower bracket, and as were Zipcat, which we saw earlier from Backe's point of view. We do have one set in the lower bracket already set up. We've got Distinct taking on Fast, who were taken down earlier in the tournament. They had a weak start, but they seem to regain themselves. They made a nice lower bracket run, taking down 3 teams in a row in hopefully fast fashion. I would like to imagine, hence the team name. They've got themselves an opportunity to take down to fight Distinct. Sure, they would hope to turn that around and secure themselves a top 8 placement. But yeah, I guess we'll turn over to the one team we haven't really been able to talk about yet. Of course, they're seed 1, so you trust them to get the job done, whether you're watching them or not. But yeah, EZMD have been around in and out of a few weeklies over the past month. They're not always the same members, but at least this 4 specifically, they tend to be very solid and always deliver.
Absolutely, and I'm trying, because one of the other members, because I know we have Silver, who is pretty well-known sword player, Kiki on their team as well. I know that Kiki that is pretty much a bamboo one trick. I don't know if this is the same Kiki, but if that is going to be fun to watch as well, because bamboo is another one you don't see too often, but it does add another kind of spice to games that you don't normally see.
Yeah, it might be a Kiki in an NA. Sorry, it might be a Kiki in NA that you're thinking of. Kiki,
that
I know,
could be, yeah,
is more known for just being a general cooler player. I think their best highlights are definitely on pencil. But they are known to play the other cooler weapons. They've got Zap under their belt. I believe they do have a bit of edit in them as well. But of course, if they're playing with Devon, everyone by this point, I think everyone who's watched a weekly in the last month will know that Devon is one of the strongest leaders we've seen in the West in recent times. So Kiki will be playing Zap to allow Devon to go crazy.
For sure.
Let's take another look at how the bracket's shaping up while we wait. Yeah, so we've got...
I was just going to point out that our first match for this next set coming up is going to be back on Zone Ship Shape, which is going to be... I'm excited for that. It's like we're seeing back-to-back Ship Shape, and we saw was Only Forever like have a really good showing on that. But like I'm excited to see how that plays up against was it Caden, which is like I think you mentioned is the number 2 seed. So definitely again we're seeing the top teams rise to the top here.
Yeah, for the most part, things going as expected. Maybe a bit of an upset between seed 4 and 5 earlier in winners round 4. But they're still waiting in the lower bracket. I'm sure they'll make their regain. They might earn themselves a chance again to take down one of the seeds above them, or perhaps a revenge date against seed 5 should they lose to Devon and friends. But yeah, I guess we will focus on the set at hand, which is now we're watching For Only Forever, who we just saw, and they'll be taking on Camden, who we got a glimpse of through Bakay's POV stream. Yeah, we're starting on the ship shape. I'm sure For Only Forever will just feel like, you know, they're exactly where they left off. Still riding the highs of that Game 5 reverse sweep win, and hopefully they'll take this momentum to scare Camden a bit.
For sure. I think because we were watching Canon, and I think they were running that pretty sick E-Leader, and ship shape is a map where if E-Leader is in mid, like that is such a tough fight to confront. If they're able to keep them on the back foot, keep them in their base, they have a bit more space to work with, a little bit more cover to work with, but they have to get that early advantage. Otherwise, just a leader of that caliber setup is a scary thing indeed.
We've seen Zap Leader and Bucket S-Blast as the aggressive pair for Camden. And again, the same comp, double strikes we've seen from For Only Forever. We've learned a lot about it over the last 5 games. Hopefully, we'll get to see at least 3 more. Provided they don't get. Sorry, please continue.
No, I'm trying to this matchup here because with the addition of the S-Blast from Caden here, like they do have between the Bucket and the S-Blast, they have a lot of AoE to get around those ledges, and they kind of play more of the mid-line fights. They're not wanting to be super aggressive, super in their face like Blanks was before, and so that might just space out. I say space out Only Forever, but right now like they're keeping up the speed, keeping up the momentum, like 3 down off of Caden, and again like they're able to keep the E-Leader from getting too far into mid, and so they're not in danger of getting blindsided from the right or the left from that open space here. But I think on the counter side, like they do have to watch out for the S-Blast in the Bucket because they can really just they're not easy to lock down.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of points here. They're going to opt to just not play for the zone and let the Zap do that and go for the kills, but they've been shut down because they weren't aware that Lito was posted up on this right side, and with the help from the Bucket who was storming through, they managed to get 2 clean kills and earn themselves a hold of their own. A second seed in Camden showing that they're not too tired just yet, that they're happy to sort of, you know, sit there and let their opponents sort of, you know, just get a bit of an inch, but you know, sometimes when you give teams an inch, they can take a mile, but not in this instance because the early pick onto the Dooley is going to deny any crab being available. The Sap's going to drop, is going to find the pick, and the strikes will shield the pink side from getting any more value. Bakay trying their best to steal a pick from this remaining guy on the right hand side, but has to put down the wave breaker. The strikes will mask everything happening in front of him, and he can't get a shot, not until the strikes are cleared away. There it is, onto the Dooley again. Another crab denied for a very long time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the 1 point lead that Only Forever has been able to hold on to, but then the follow wipeout. Was that?
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, they were just bare. Like those strikes came in at right at the last second to stop them from getting the lead, and I think like that. Well, then the leader just shuts down the crab again. The crab just cannot catch a break, but getting the wipeout immediately after that allowed them to start to push up and just capitalize off so much. And 2 more are down here, and if they're to get the third, it's just the leader remaining, and that is going to be a lot of free space to paint the zone. But no, they're going to jump back in and get some nice trays to even things out.
Yeah, and even with the trade from that Bucket, it's still just Bass on their lonesome. Hang on a minute. I think there was a late jump in from someone that wasn't caught out. I think Punchy didn't realize it was happening. As a result, even despite the pick from the Lita, they're still trading it out regardless and playing away from the Lita sightline. So smartly set up from For Only Forever. They're going to get some more points on the board. It looks like they're going to get to at least 20. Not if Lucky Fire gets taken down so early and allow Camden back into their own court.
I think we're starting to see kind of the same dynamic we saw of Only Forever against Blanks before. It's like, you know, when you have a backlineless comp here, they play for the speed, they play for the aggression, go up against a backline comp, this time with the leader, last time with the edit, it is essentially a 4v3 if you're able to keep out of range, out of sight lines of the backline. And especially with the backline, when you have the S-Blast in the bucket, whose job mainly is to rush in and kind of get trades and stall if they have the lead. When they don't have that lead, they don't have the same kind of player, the firepower that right now Only Forever has. Like, they're playing so well, taking the 2v1s, the 3v1s, that they're able to just continually outpaint and outplay each of these individual fights, and it's going to get them all the way to the there's the KO. I was about to commentate curse them once again, but no, they're able to keep it strong and hold out for the KO at the end.
Yeah, and again, it's just the game plan they've got set up for Only Forever. It's just they know that at the start of the game they just need to, you know, stay aware of the elite sight lines, catch the aggression of their opponents, keep it 2v1 situations as much as possible for the whole game, and then once they get that zone control, once they get those ticks down, they can just constantly play for kills. It doesn't matter if the Booyah and the strikes get put on zone and it gets flipped. They can just still play for the kills, noticing that obviously once the specials go out, it's just they've Camden have nothing left. They just have to go in with their main weapons and hope and pray that they catch someone out, which they did a couple times in fairness to them, but not every time. Every other time it was, again, situations like this where it was just wipe out and constant staggering from the 2v1s that For Only Forever kept creating.
Mm-hmm. I feel like something else, like mentioning the specials, because of the amount of paint that Only Forever is able to put out, like even when they throw out the strikes, even when they throw out the Booyah Bomb, with a bucket and a blaster, you don't have the same opportunity to push with the strikes or with the Booyah Bomb because you're just getting immediately outpainted by the double shooter on the other side. And I think that really did play because, like you said, like once they threw out the specials, they were just kind of left with their main weapons. And then we saw For Only Forever kind of counterplay or counter special right back. And when they did that, they were able to push in with the special. And because Caden was still trying to recover from the special weapons coming out, they weren't ready for the players to come in from the other side and just sandwich them.
Although I don't think Camden will be too alarmed that they've dropped this game, although it might have been quite frustrating in the fashion that it happened. They've got Crab Leg, which is, you know, one of the best leader maps in the game, so I'm sure they'll still have lots of confidence in order to tie up the score.
Oh yes, 100%. Like Ship is very unique, very unusual. You don't see it too often in most non-zones only tournaments. So it is, you accept the loss, you move on. But like you said, the leader is going to have a field day on this map. Ooh, and they're going to swap out that V bucket for a Dreadringer.
And also the Rapid deck on the Pro, I think they've realized that they're going to stick to the Lita and they just want to keep missiles on it constantly. That's what Bass has opted for, and they've moved Lucky Fire onto the Rapid instead of the bucket. So they do lose the strikes, but they still have the specials that can be annoying to Camden, although 2 down and the Race Rider is going to make it. A third, maybe not. Just staying out of the radius was the Zap. He's going to try and trade out here. A messy scrap, a set of fights going on at the moment. The Rapid jumping in is going to get punished, and there we go, the Dread cleaning up the final fight. So will gain control for Camden, and the Lita pick onto the Plat is going to deny any notion of an early retake.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this seemed to be the same kind of situation we saw on Hangover before, like with this other comp. They do have some good mid-range to play around with, but it just they lose kind of the oppressive paint output they have. And so when you're doing a midline versus midline fight, it seems like Caden is a little bit more practice in using that kind of fighting technique. That being said, they do lose half their team. As long as they're able to take out the leader and they do manage to grab the leader, they could cap the zone and bring it back. Camping the jumps as well, but not quite able to get the zone. Still, Caden holding on for dear life and just canceling to get the wipe out.
Yeah, now the issue is like you do with the leader, but with the way the leader's position on Crab Leg on top of the grates, you can't really see if there's any jump ins unless you're already like in the leader's face. And then because the leader's down, you're like, okay, now we just need to deal with the rest of the team. But once you put that pressure on that leader, the enemy team's already like, wait, no, they're going for our backline. We need that guy, and then they'll come back and then they'll pick up the pieces, and that's exactly what Camden did there to tie up the score.
Absolutely, and definitely a very different game than we saw that first one, but. Like we did say that this is going to be one that did favor Caden quite a bit. So it'll even things out at 1-1 here. Not quite over for Only Forever. But you do have to okay, what in that match could we have done better? Like, how do we kind of adapt? Because so far, Caden, the only change they had really was that Dreadringer. And that even with the Dreadringer, they still were playing very aggressive, very much in Only Forever's face. And so, they do have to continue to kind of be able to punish that, be able to play off that, and just realize that they're going to try to play up and play fast every single time.
Yeah, I think what it was for Only Forever was that they had the Elite sightline in check, but what they didn't check for was the Dread, because obviously increased range, even though the kill time's slow, the increased range allows the Dread to put more pressure. And we saw it happen so early with, I think it was an early bomb kill on the left-hand side. The Dread was like, well, I'm close to my roof side now. I'm just going to pop it and see what happens. And what it did, it allowed the rest of their team members behind them to sort of see, oh, well, these guys have hit 70. Cool, free kill. And that's exactly what they took. They used their resources well enough. They used them little and often, not necessarily together, but sort of staggering them one after the other and using them more efficiently than For Only Forever. And that's what earned them that win on Crab, though.
Exactly. So they're going to be opting to stick. Oh, okay. A couple of interesting changes. One, they're going to stick with the Dreadringer. I feel like Brave Slider is still very strong for Humpback. But the the Tri-Slosher with the screen is going to be interesting swap up. Going to be opting for that instead of the V-Bucket for this match.
I was going to say I was going to deny the Elita sidelines, but when the Elita is on a flank in your spawn, I don't think there's really much you can do to sort of combat that.
I say definitely playing off the fact that they're gonna hit every single one of their shots. They are going to hit every single one of their shots, and the only thing you can do about that is to ignore them. I think oh my goodness, this is what Blanks wanted to do in that last game, but with you have a leader, right now Cannon's doing that so much more better. And they're continuing to get the splash. That is a delayed wipe off of Only Forever. They are not giving them an inch this match.
Yeah, and although the screen's up, well, the Tri is dead. There's no one in that screen. The leader knows that, so they can just, watch that fly on by and just continue setting up their minds in the zone for the eventual time where Ozone try and make their way back in. They do finally get a clean pick onto the S-Blast, but the leader is still putting this pressure onto that right-hand side. The elbow is being watched so intently, and a Booyah is going to counter any drop-ins, and the strikes is going to be denied by the Booyah and the Roof Sider to cap, and he's going to get 2, and that's going to end the game 2-1 for Camden with the wipeout.
I said we almost saw the For Only Forever special coming out right at the end, but I think the Reef Slider getting the 2 splats that it did just completely nullified that push. And they were in a very strong position to begin with, but I think just that was their last chance for that match, and Caden just countered that so well. I must applaud them.
Yeah, and a very quick regain. I think Dreadringer was the key for them, and sort of enables the rest of the enemy team to do stuff. Because with a bucket, you're sort of worrying more about them getting caught out in 1v1 situations. But with the Dread, with that extra range and them being more conscious of how they're spacing themselves, you can sort of just trust them to, deal with themselves, sort of manage themselves rather, allows that leader to take even more aggressive positions than they already were. Bake is known to be taking such positions, but is doing it tenfold on this occasion now that they know they've got more paint with the Dread and the Zap behind them.
I say that was the other thing I was thinking. It was with the Dread as opposed to the V-Bucket, they're able to kind of keep up a little bit better with the paint output that For Only Forever is throwing at them. And so, the Dread Zap is pretty similar to that kind of double shot or the double shooter we're seeing from Only Forever. And when you have a little bit of extra range on top of that, that kind of offsets the matchup a little bit in Caden's favor.
We head into game number 4, going back to Brinewater, which we saw earlier today, where Distinct took on Eclipse. Obviously with Lita, again, this is just, the map pool is just favoring Camden so hard here. It's so difficult for Only Forever to sort of mount any kind of offense, because there's just so much pressure from so many different avenues for Camden. They've got so much freedom with the comp they run.
So you have the leader able to kind of cover all the above space, but then as soon as they try to drop down into the flanks to get around, then you have to deal with the S-Blast and even the Bucket that do a really good job of just playing that AoE and chipping them out of the lower spaces. And so it really will come down to, like, can they survive the leader long enough to get some strikes out to displace them and then be able to push in with that?
I think they had the right idea with the screen, but unfortunately with the try having less range, they have to move into more aggressive positions to be effective against the rest of their opponents. I think that was the downside that For Only Forever didn't account for. They're going to switch back to the V bucket here instead of the strikes. A more sort of less volatile special to get rid of the Lita. The Duel's going to camp underneath, try and get a pick onto the Lita. The Lita's going to back away, but instead the target switch onto the S-Blast and another kill. Slowly winning the fights in their favor are the formerly known as Ozone. The Zap is running it down, is going to get rid of the Lita, and a big opportunity to get some, possibly even 30 points if they play their cards right.
It was just every single member of For Only Forever was up in that base in that moment. They do have the Zap falling back to kind of watch for the flanks here, but here's the real kicker. Even with one strikes, it's a small enough zone. You could cap it with the single strike. Now, when you have two strikes and control a zone, then you could throw the strikes all up their ramp right there, just like they did. So that's going to be kind of a 2v2, make that a 2v1 with that player going down. And so Kaden is going to be a nice fight from the ends out to recap the zone here.
Yeah, excellent play from Punchy, trading out the bucket and then getting an extra one for that. And this is the problem that For Only Forever have been having. They feel like that they can keep this pressure up where they're taking these 1v1s, that they're trying to jump in and, you know, make 2v1 situations, but sometimes they're just losing that 1v1 and then it's resulting in a snowball where you get situations like this where Bake is running in on the enemy spawn with a wave breaker. Sure. Save for that. C2 Camden have been doing a great job of winning all their fights, despite Bake's strange antics on the left-hand side. His teammates have cleaned things up for him.
I don't know if the Zap saw, but like the Zap went out to fight zone and the S-Blast replaced it in their base, and so the rest of the team was end up fighting the Blaster, leaving it to a bit of a wipeout there. 30 points remaining for Kaden, but now we're going to be seeing the strikes from For Only Forever. Not quite, do cap the zone, not quite getting the nice strikes that we saw from Kaden here, but it's enough. Again, they're playing to the distraction that the strikes do, but unfortunately another splat from the leader is going to offset it and allow Kaden to continue with the space right now, and then they are just going to move right in and just set up shop right here.
Yeah, the Slosher on Camden's side knows that the game plan now is just to, you know, keep striking, let the lead to get set up, because even if there's one set of strikes, as long as they have one to counter and some paint with them, they can keep the zone ticking down. One drop on the right side as the S-Blast is trying to pair with the bucket. We'll get one, but no, that's two down. It's somehow a net positive for... Oh my goodness, okay, excuse me, I was going to say net positive, but how about that? Putting it back to a neutral with that shot. We'll get taken down finally. The zone will take to 16 before the flip is achieved. And For Only Forever have got 2 minutes left to mount this offense. They've got a low penalty to work with. They've got to win this fight on bottom left, but no! Both fights are lost. A trade out on one and a full loss on the other. Finally, Camden will break back into this left-hand side and take down the Zap as well. That's the cooler gone. Surely this is the end for Only Forever. For how long can they keep this up?
Oh my gosh. A normal E-Leader would see two players rushing them and back up. Not this E-Leader. That was such a clean pick right now. And with only like 10 penalty points remaining for Kaden, like that kind of play is giving them as much time as they can possibly squeeze out of this game right now. We do have one of the two bowl strikes are out. Oh, that was such a good pick from the S-Blast. And then another one to bring it to a 3-down. That's a delayed wipe right there. Taking out the strike users right away, though they did cap the zone to give a little bit of penalty. That is going to remove all the pressure that they've been throwing out for these
nice
weak
games. Placement as well. Unfortunately, not going to fight the pick. Punchy's going to go down on this right-hand side. Hang on a minute. This might have opened up the floor. It's going to be a jump out, actually. I was thinking maybe that the Geordie could stick around and grab the attention of the Lita, allow that walk back into the left-hand side, but with the penalty so low, Canada is going to keep playing for these kills regardless of how things go in the end. That's 2 down, and the strikes are on their lonesome. The S-Blast is going to try and chase it. Not before. Bass drops right with the dually. He's going to try and neutral the zone. It's just a paint war. The Lita trying their lonesome, but the strikes are going to allow Ozone to take this, but a wipeout in the end with 50 seconds. Surely Camden are finally going to end this game once and for all.
There's like a band-aid on the leak right there. It's going to give them a little bit more time, but 40 seconds remaining. Like, they have to be able to win some of these team fights. The Elite going down is going to be a huge one.
Oh,
2 to 3. That's a delay. That's a wipeout right there.
The clutch on the duel just dropped straight in, recognizing how little time is left, just snowballed in, and I don't think Camden were aware of that, and this might be what helps them out. Lita's dead. Hang on a minute. Oh my goodness, they could do it. Hang on. Just with the trade, the bucket is trying their best. Is going to jump out and keep their life with the OT starting. They need to kill the strikes user now. Even with the cooler, the zap's gone down. Hang on a minute. Wait, the jump's in the wrong place. The jump's in the wrong place. I'm mad. What's going on?
That was, oh my gosh. I don't know if that was a misplay or miscommunication, but that was a huge play from Only Forever. That's going to be 3 members down. And the strikes are gone. Strikes are gone. Booyah going to come out to get the zone, but 3 members are down. It is just a blaster remaining. A blaster cannot paint the zone when it is overtime, and 3 shooters are up to paint it instead.
Huge fumble from Camden there. Unfortunate mechanical error in the jump outs more than anything. They all jumped on top of each other. The bucket was like, oh, surely the S-Pass is behind me. The S-Pass was like, oh, surely the bucket's behind me. They were both on top of each other. End up in the same place, returned to sender. And the bomb kills will clean that up. And even though they were cooled, that sort of set the panic in motion, right? They realized, oh no, we might have messed this up. And then they started to make mistakes. That the Booyah came out too early before I think it was the bucket who ran in under that and managed to kill the other strikes player. And that, yeah, For Only Forever played that so well, recognizing the panic that was setting in for Camden, and yeah, getting that wipeout at the end, or even that 3 down that secured them the game. Because as you said, it was just the blaster left. What was the blaster supposed to do on their own? Throwing the Booyah out, but can only neutral the zone by themselves.
I don't say, like, yes, they had the cooler, but then, you know, that meant that they didn't have the cooler the next time they jumped in and tried to fight, and that was the fight that really did kind of throw off their game, because not only did they take out the bucket almost immediately, the S-Blast threw the Booyah Bomb, but that left the rest of their team to kind of take the fight, and they ended up going down because of that. So again, just with the Blaster, the only one remaining, like, even though they were able to get to the zone, they were left with no time left to even take a fight at the end there.
We've been blessed out, man. We've got 2 Game 5s, and it's Only Forever in both of them.
Oh my goodness!
Crazy Splatoon we've been blessed with tonight, or today, whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's match point. It's a tiebreaker on Barnacle and Dime. We saw back a player earlier against Zipcat. Can they deliver a second time? They've gone for the Crab Dread this time instead of the Reslider. What do you think might be the reason for this pick, Imad?
I will say Crab Tank is especially strong on Barnacle and Dime, and I feel like especially for retake, because the Reslider, with the new object now in the middle of that zone, is like you can't really cap the whole zone as easily, but a Crab Tank can just allow you to open up. It can allow you to take some of that snipe areas back, and so I think overall they're looking to have a little bit more presence with that Reslider, but at the same time they still have to deal with the double strikes and just quick movement coming out from this other team. 2 members are fighting in the corner against all of For Only Forever right now. Yeah,
and the Dread, you pointed out, you know, Crab is a great retake special, but not if the Dread dies immediately on the opening. They've really struggling here to keep this pressure out. The Crab's going to come out. Bass is trying to punch it. Oh, the bomb in combination is going to have 2 overall for the side of For Only Forever, and they're going to take down the Dually as well. How have they managed to get to 50 so quickly? Oh, the bomb spam as well, as you pointed out before. It's so many things that we pointed out, all culminating into one final win potential for Only Forever.
I'm something I just realized, actually, with the Crab Dread in play, they did give up their only strike user. They are now running strikeless in the face of a double strike, double shooter comp. The amount of pain that Only Forever is throwing out right now is insane and seems to be working. Like, Caden really is going to have to play to getting the splats. They're really going to have to play to getting these fights, but Only Forever is not giving them that opportunity. They're once again playing in the element of, okay, you throw 1 player in, we're going to throw 3 players on top of that player until they go back to spawn.
And Pudgy's found a nice adaptation, realizing the strikes are just going onto like the key areas, dropping onto the flanks instead, is going to just about win out that fight. That's huge. In a second on the left-hand side, the 1v1s are falling into the favor of Camden. They've managed to get themselves set up. They can post up this Lita on this left-hand side. They could get some things done. Opting to play in mid this time as Lita, sort of a bit more aware of, or probably respecting more what For Only Forever are capable of. So this Crab goes out, trying to put this pressure on the right side. The Lita is watching it from that left stack. trying to put pressure onto the right stack again is the Crab is going to have to fall out eventually as it expires. One kill on the right-hand side will open things up. The Booyah onto the stack as the Dread runs through behind, but gets taken down. The Espas trying to follow up, but it's too late. The Lita will cover it, though, and might just give Camden the lead.
Ooh. Okay, so we're dealing with like no specials online. It's just a straight 1v or a player versus player matchup, and I think Kaden wins those in those fights unless they have the player advantage. Kaden is going to win these 1v1s, but here comes the strikes kind of to follow up. Not quite able to catch the zone. Second strike's coming in. Not quite able to even get the splat. We're down to 10 points. This is their last hurrah. They got to stop this zone now before they get the KO. But with 3 players down, it's just Lucky left on that bucket, and I don't think they have nearly enough paint to catch the zone.
No way!
No! Oh my goodness.
Staying alive and getting that pick. They've kept Forney forever in the upper bracket for just a moment longer. The stall out from the Dread is going to get a trade, but not before they take up this left stack again. How on earth are we still going? I thought it was over from the moment that Camden took that lead.
No, absolutely. Just the fact that Lucky stayed alive, we had 2 jumps come in, and that just gave them just enough paint to cap the zone before the zone ticked out. But I think, oh goodness. But now we're seeing Kaden kind of back on the aggression and starting to push back in. And here we see the Zap jumping, but they are going to be taken out on the landing. So it's going to be a bit of a stagger here as just the dualies are remaining.
Yeah, and there's one setting up on the top left. That is the Zap. And wait, hang on, they've taken down the Crab so early without the cooler. The strikes onto the stack are going to help things out. They're going to ignore the presence of the Zap on this left-hand side and on the right and play for this left, but now the Zap is going on a flank. Is the Crab aware of it? They're going to drop behind knowing that it's there. They have to play forward even though they got the cap. The dually needs some help, and the Zap has placed the cooler in such an awkward spot. Although the Bucket jump in will get it, Bucket is trying their best to outlive this in a 3v1. Finally, will take it down. And Camden surely this time going to KO.
I say the one thing. Okay, so when a player from For Only Forever stall out, Kaden with the double midline is a bit slower, so they're not able to kind of react as much. But even when like one player from Kaden comes in to stall out Only Forever, they're so quick to change positions to shift around that it almost wasn't even like they were distracted at all. But the sheer amount the lockout power that Kaden has is what is going to win the game right here. Taken all the way down to, I think it was the KO, just Only Forever not even able to get back in.
Yeah, it was after they finally got rid of that bucket that they realized that, oh, hang on, they just keep dropping into their pit instead of playing for special so quickly. So we'll just shoot there. They put a lot of pressure on there, and they got the team wipe fairly quickly. And with 30 ticks left on their penalty, yeah, it was set in stone for Camden at that point. It was a sort of battle of whoever's in the lead, how much can we just kill you over and over and annoy you constantly? Even though you get the flip, we're still killing you and you still don't have a lead. So you have to work harder is the name of the game for both teams, and Camden come out on top on this occasion.
Absolutely. I'm still thinking back to, like, there was a moment in time where there was not a special in play from either team. I think that with the amount of specials getting thrown out, there was always a moment where there was a team fight happening because of a strike or because of a crab or something. But I think that in that one moment where there wasn't any specials out, I feel like Kaden, that was when they had that upper hand because of their double midline comp. They were able to utilize all this open space so well. They were able to push in, and even with, like, the 2 shooters coming at them, like, they just kind of zoned them out. They were able to win the 1v1, and then when it flipped back around to the specials coming online, is like they had enough ground to hold that they weren't shaking it quite as much as they normally are when it's a bit more chaotic.
Yeah, and that will wrap it up for our winner semi-finals. Camden will take on EZMD in the winners final in just a moment. Looking down at the lower bracket, For Only Forever will be waiting in the top 6, as well as Chocolate Vanilla on the other side of the bracket. Zipcat going toe-to-toe currently with Veni Vidi Vici. They're currently 1-1 in that best of 3. And hang on, just as I say that, Zipcat have taken it. They'll be waiting for the winner of Seed 10, which is Sane, which is just the letters of the players combined into one. That is Eric, Smooey, Yoshi, and Nexus. They're taking on Blank Z at the minute. So Blank Z looking to make their way back through the lower bracket and take on Zipcat, hopefully. Fast are currently waiting for Seed 4, which is Noctis, Anger, Wasabi, and Tiny, against Eclipse, who are currently 1-1, actually. So another interesting set going down in the lower end.
Indeed, a lot of fantastic Splatoon still in store for y'all. But unfortunately, that is going to wrap up our commentary tonight. We're going to be handing off to another set of commentators. So before we pass the mic, Jason, where can the good people find you?
Good people can find me just below at jace1n.bsky.social, and on Twitter, if anyone still uses it, JAS000N. Where can we find you, Ahmed?
Well, you can also find me on Blue Sky at IMedGamerII or Twitch under the same handle. I've been trying to get back into some more Splatoon streaming, especially on that Splatoon high after the LAN vibe. So, yeah, catch me over there. But in the meantime, thank you all for hanging out, and thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more awesome Splatoon action, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, who? Do you want to lead us in to winners finals?
We are here at Triton-Cup 113, Easy MD versus Candid. I'm Saucy here with Slat, and we are getting right into it, right off the top, with the Zones game here. Very unfortunately, and this type of map, because I gotta tell you, Slat, I hate a center stack. I can't stand it. So definitely
annoying. I can agree.
Absolutely gonna be a good luck to both of these players. But you see already off the top, 2 members down from Camden, who we just saw on the stream. We have a bit of a 2v1 here, and despite 3 people ganging up on them, they are able to get that pick. So right now, still Easy MD with their hands on the zone.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing a pretty good job at keeping the other team out. It's interesting seeing, oh my gosh, are they rocking almost the exact, they are, they're rocking almost the exact same team comps, the only difference being the S-Blast and the Stamper. It's interesting seeing E-Leader instead of Pencil, but I guess this is lower level?
No, it is not. I would say actually Camden especially very well known for being quite the strong team. You have Bake here trying to get the shots in before going down themselves. I'd honestly argue that especially Bake very well known for having that E leader at almost all times, sometimes switching to pen when appropriate. But given that very recently, I think Leader was able to place in an Area Cup or a King's Cup of, I think an Area Cup, we've definitely been seeing a lot more use of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just used to seeing more of Pencil. And then again, I was just at Riptide, so that was...
As was I.
Yeah.
Definitely more pencil play there, but you see these strikes are going to come out trying to get that zone. Not quite going to happen. Once again, that center stack doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, but finally it's in neutral, and I think there's just a bit of a, you know, people playing with the center stack kind of like a hide and seek type of thing, because these leaders are not playing games.
Yeah, no, because I mean that's the benefit of the middle stack here when it comes to these E-leaders, is it is good protection against them. But it's hard for the zone does seem to go back and forth though on these kinds of matches, as we've been seeing. But EasyMD is doing a great job at holding on to it though.
Yeah, absolutely. You see 3 of the members going down, and I think that bucket went down at the end, giving us a delayed wipe. Only 10 ticks left there, so the strikes are going to come out to see what they can get done. But I think just with that pick and only the leader being left into a full wipe, as soon as EasyMD turns around and caps that, that will be game for them under their belt buckles, really.
I wasn't ready to get just thrown into it. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't commentated in a while either, so it really was just here you go. I'll take this moment to catch my breath. So we're in winners finals. That's good. We love that. We love winners finals. Let's check out this instant replay real quick. Excellent Stamper kill there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that person's days were kind of numbered because they had 3 people jumping them. Luckily, they were able to get 1 pick up before they went down, and you see a little leader-on-leader violence there as Bake goes down to the leader on the other team. But just generally, I think this is maybe a triple, no, a double before going down. So just a lot of mayhem and hecticness, but maybe now that we're heading into Robo Ramen, immediately into Robo
Oh my
Ramen,
gosh.
we're going to be
We don't even
seeing,
get a chance to take that breath. We just...
that's the commentating game. We're straight into it.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I'm good with being straight into it. Honestly, this is a good map for trying to not get shot by E-leaders. There's plenty of barriers to, like, you know, not get hit type of situation, which we love. You can see both teams are contesting the zone right now, not either team getting it, except for Camden takes it right just as I say that, of course. That tends to happen.
Yeah, usually, honestly, I'd say you see a lot of neutral until someone is able to get the pick, and then they move forward. But a very quick capping of the zone here, and you see already Silver moving into that elbow section. That's where a lot of people tend to like to hold, because you can just hold it, move up, and really lock out the other team. Gonna be a little bit harder when you're facing down a leader, because if the leader just knows where you are, they can just kind of point and click. So we'll see how this works for them.
EasyMD doing a great job at locking out Camden right now. Oh, except for it looks like Camden is getting their feet back. They're getting their footing back, and are coming back in the mid to hopefully take the zone, maybe? Oh. Yeah, they got the zone. A lot of specials came out right there with the strikes and the booyah. Just now, maybe it's their turn to keep EasyMD in their base.
Yeah, absolutely. But you see Bake is giving up that ground, I think, with 2 or so of their members coming out. You see 6-7 also giving up that ground very wisely, because with them giving up all their specials, not a lot of resources in order to keep that space. So best to just kind of back up and reset. And you see they have kept the zone all the while. So right now, EasyMD finally able to kind of get out of their spawn, take their elbow back. The booyah comes out, displacing several members of Camden. And I think now with these strikes, it may be time for us to see a change of hands. And finally, Camden down to 25, not too shabby, but I think that EasyMD definitely in solid shape here to possibly get their hands on the zone again. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going a bit of back and forth here with very decently large penalties for both teams. It looks like Kenan is taking this opportunity to... It's actually like very slow right now, honestly. We got some coolers up on zone though.
Yeah, I think Camden really good positioning here. You see that they're watching that right. You have that bucket knight there, making sure that nobody drops, that they can't just slip past them, as well as, of course, the watchful eye of Bake always down. But along with, we've been seeing these strikes and the Booyah just come out, and you don't really have to be in zone at all to just cap over that. So we have a 50-point penalty there on Camden in the blink of an eye, and that is going to give them a lot of leeway and a lot of space to see if they can make a comeback here.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Oh, excuse my yawning. I'm very tired and sick. Very tired and sick. EasyMD keeping up on the zone, getting jumps in, which is great. I just noticed one. EasyMD has the scope. Or no, sorry, not the scope. Camden has a scoped leader, but EasyMD doesn't.
Yeah, definitely gonna give Camden, who I believe has Bake on that leader, a little bit of a range buff comparatively, which you're definitely gonna need. I'm sure that Bake also doesn't tend to have to deal with other leaders. You don't see leader much, as you mentioned before. You tend to see a pencil. So I think that perhaps this scope is sort of an answer to the fact that there's a leader v leader thing going on, where they're saying, listen, I'm used to having the most range in the entire lobby. I will still have the most range because you're just going to be a regular leader there. Yeah.
Do they usually not play scope?
I don't think so. From what I remember, I think it's just rare in general that I see a leader with scope. I think most leaders are content to have what they have because they're coming up against a pencil. So I could definitely be wrong there, but to my knowledge, I feel as though we tend to see a normal leader there. But you see that EasyMD, once again, just refusing to let Camden hit that knockout. But we're looking at 30 seconds left on the board, so they're gonna have to have one of the best holds they've had in the entire game if they're hoping to take this second game home and put them, at least Camden, in a really tough position going into the rest of the set.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And honestly, with 10 seconds left on the board, it really is like, as you can see, the zone got reset. Camden has the board. Oh, but see, EasyMD immediately took it back. It's going back and forth. It's going back and forth right now as the game ends, as Camden takes this game.
Yeah, like you said, it was back and forth, but I think that all that matters is what it ends on at the end there. So I think that Camden was able to get that paint down and have good timing on that. So ultimately, yeah, they get their lick back and they tie it up 1-1 in this best of 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're already looking at a great game, in my opinion. Because we have, let's check out the instant replay. A lot of strikes on the zone, which I'm loving to see. I love me some strikes.
Yeah, and,
especially when on the zones. Oh, sorry, you go ahead. I was just gonna say real quick, especially on the zones where you could throttle strikes and take the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you mentioned in that other game we didn't see any changes in these comps, and we have the S-Blast coming up against that Stamper, but ultimately they both have that Booyah. So I think we're looking at just about identical comps in case as it pertains to what specials they have. So just back and forth, we're seeing strikes followed by that Booyah, and you don't need, sometimes you have that Booyah out, you need someone to paint over that to finish off the zone or the strikes, and you're just not going to need that when you have both of those specials. But once again, I hope none of you wanted a break because we are right back into it. Gonna see if we're gonna have any changes. Absolutely not. Both of these leaders very confident being on these weapons, even on a Mako Mart zone. So we'll see how this shakes out.
So they seem pretty confident with their weapons, or else they would have changed by now. They know what they want and they know what they're gonna get as this zone game starts out right now. Ooh, excellent shot from what is it? How do I pronounce that?
Casado, I think.
Casado. amazing opening from EZMD. Oh, can we get the Booyah here? Oh, not quite. Ooh, interesting jump out. A lot of skirmishing happening right now.
Absolutely, though I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that Candon does have that S-Blast, and I would argue that obviously Stamper, no problems with having a Stamper on this map mode, but having an S-Blast definitely creates a unique difficulty for EZMD, you would think, seeing as though we have all these stacks, it makes it harder to drop. But right now, EZMD is just like this wall, making it super difficult for anyone from Candon to move forward, as well as the fact that Bake seems to not quite be getting any of these shots. I think everyone on EZMD is really watching their positioning. So far, barely any points on the board for Candon. We'll see if that changes with these specials, and it does.
They broke the penalty and immediately got it back. As Candon takes and is starting to break down their points a little bit. It looks like they're actually getting a good push from that. Oh, as I say that, they go 2 down.
Yes.
Commentator's curse, everybody.
Their zap is still up. Super important that they were able to get out of that, meaning that they don't just lose their process on their cooler. But you see here a wipeout on EZMD, so they are able to get back that zone and position themselves to, you see, make it difficult for them to drop. And you see already 6-7 on that S-Blast getting to work, getting a pick there at that drop. Definitely ready to harass some people, make it difficult. The Booyah comes out with no follow-up, so not going to do much. As a matter of fact, that counter Booyah is going to get claim a splat there, and you see a change of hands in terms of the lead. So we'll see if they're able to run this all the way, especially because Candon still has their strikes.
Absolutely, they could use them at any time, as EZMD uses their strikes to get back into the zone. Not quite able to take it with 10 points left on the board. Honestly, Candon could take it here. All they really have to do is just hold the zone for just a couple more seconds, and that's exactly what they just did. Taking the set 2-1. We got game point. I guess we would have had game point regardless, but I just had to mention that it's game point, even though everyone knows that.
Yes, Candon now with that second point, they are now at set point. Ready to take the rest of this and keep moving on in the bracket. Taking a look at this instant replay, you see, just as I mentioned, I was starting to think, hey, perhaps when I mentioned that S-Blast call, I think Candon were kind of in trouble. They were being spawn camped a little bit, so I was like, ooh, perhaps I should simply shut my mouth, because it seems the S-Blast wasn't working for them. But as you can see, kind of Hail Marys in terms of that Booyah and some of the fighting they were doing. But I think ultimately Candon did a really good job outpainting them and boxing them in.
Absolutely. We're immediately going into... we just don't even get
they know the comps. There's no reason to... Listen, I'm the type of person, Slat, I can know what the comp is, but I just want to have a little chat with my teammates. I want to lounge around. I have the time. I'll take it. But not these teams. They say, listen, comp's the same.
They're ready.
I'm ready to go.
Let's
get into
They're ready.
it.
Let's go. It's just not giving me a chance to warm up my voice like I was planning on. But, which is fine. I'll just warm up like with this, because we've got plenty of more action, I believe, after this.
Absolutely.
Is this the end?
I think we are both, unfortunately, a little bit sick on the mic. But speaking of sick,
no.
that S-Blast is already down, no doubt. And as I say that, 3 members down for Candon already. EZMD back with a vengeance, trying to just come after the members of Candon. And yeah, it's just lots of bloodshed here on Museum.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, EZMD was like, saw that they don't want to lose right here, so they're doing a great job at holding the zone. As I say that, Candon throws out their tri-strikes just to take the zone. Like I said, I love having zones where the tri-strikes can just take it. It's rare. It's nice to see, in my opinion. Ooh, excellent shot from the E leader there against the S-Blast. I didn't expect to see that happen. so much ledge camping happening right now, which is honestly working in Camden's favor.
Yeah, you know, S-Blast, not S-Blast, Museum is just lots of ledge. So
Lots of
if
ledge.
you're
So much
not
ledge.
ledge camping, especially if you have that AoE, you're certainly doing it wrong. But we
Ooh.
see a fantastic pick, I think, on Bake, the other leader.
Yeah.
There from Kasato. 3 members down, and I think that is about to be a delayed wipe with 2 members just 2v1ing that S-Blast. So right now, EasyMD, I think you have the Stamper just trying to get some ink out, making sure that 6-7 is being checked there, seeing as though they are kind of the 2 odd ones out, and already a change of hands in terms of this lead. So we'll see if EasyMD is able to hold on to it, especially because their backs are up against the wall, and they cannot afford to lose this if they want to stay in this bracket.
Absolutely. I mean, it is... I need to look at the bracket. I need to be honest with you. I actually just got here. But EasyMD really close to taking it here, as they get to 1 point. Lose it to Camden. That is rough. Yeah. But they have a really solid lead. The only way Camden can win is if they knock them out.
Yeah, and you know, despite the fact that they're at 53, that may be easier than maybe we think, because you see they have that really small penalty, so they can just really just run themselves down, but looking like that's not going to happen. You see Bake is the only person left up on Camden, and I think we're looking at perhaps a delayed wipe, at the very least 3 members down, and now EasyMD is going full-on aggression. They are on Camden's plat, and they are ready to get some picks, so they are taking absolutely no prisoners, and Silver calling for backup, ready to booyah, it seems, on their plat.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, gets immediately taken down. But honestly, they have a decent hold on zone, but it might... Ooh, excellent shot on... was it Bake?
I think it might have been. That's the other leader, yeah.
Oh, that was the... I saw it was the leader, just the name.
Yep, correct.
I was trying to get... The E-leader's holding their own right now at close range. I need to stop talking.
I think, you know, it's just going to be tough in general when you have 3 people storming you on E-leader. And one thing, I think Bake may still be on that scope. Yes, they are, but ultimately it's going to be super difficult in terms of speed and getting your picks. So you see that Camden, they currently have the zone right now, which may be a little bit hard. Once again, you have that center stack, that spinner. So 3 members down. So finally a full wipeout. So they do get that zone back, denying Camden that really strong run to the knockout you were talking about before. So once again, they are on their plat, putting on the pressure on Camden.
I mean, with 20 seconds left, all they can really do is put on the pressure and just hold. I mean, they do have a chance to knock out, I think. Yeah, they do. So...
I don't think they do. I don't think there's enough time.
It's
called time
well.
before... Oh, it's just speeding up, but not enough time. Yeah, you are completely correct. They knock out with just 1 or 2 seconds left to go, and that is going to tie us up in this set 2-2.
We love Game 5. I love Game 5. Absolutely love Game 5.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to see who takes winners finals.
I'd argue the only people who do not love a Game 5 may be the players themselves. Sometimes you just want that quick knockout, and EasyMD denies Camden, you know, that 3rd game, forcing them to go into that last game.
Did you see that? Did you see?
I did. Jorian.
Yeah, Jorian typing in the bottom. We love speedrunning the game, which is, I agree, it was great. Jorian, we love speedrunning winners finals. Absolutely. Hey, yo, so is this on Sendu? Is the bracket on Sendu?
I believe so. Just about all brackets are. I will pull that up during the break for sure. But we are at the tiebreaker for the set in winners. Shocking absolutely nobody, no switches. Perhaps everybody just had a little bit of a cool down because I feel like there was a little bit of a lag comparatively in terms of getting into this game, but both of these teams rushing straight into mid. We're gonna see the picks, the back and forth, and then gotta see who gets this zone first and how that culminates.
Yeah, absolutely. We love a good hoorah. You know what I mean? A last hoorah, especially on Mahi. Mahi's one of my favorite zones maps because of how goofy it is.
Ooh. Well, what are you thinking based on these comps that we've been seeing all set long? Who do you think has the advantage to take this game 5?
I think with these ledges, it could... Sorry. I think with these ledges, it could be our S-Blast. So, sorry, I had some problems with the stream. It's back up. I think our S-Blast on the side of Candon could really turn the tides. Although EasyMD is doing a really good job at holding this zone as they've already gotten down 80 points. And Candon just now getting a Booyah Bomb out, but it's not really... They just took the zone with 8 points left. I mean, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the sword has the advantage here. But, like, looking at these ledges, I mean, we've got the sloshers, right? They can just shoot up on top of them. And then we've got the E-leaders with the vantage points. And then we got Zap for cooler. So I was thinking between the two, like you were saying earlier, like, the S-Blast would have the upper hand, but it seems like the sword is doing its job.
You know, at the end of the day, we'll see who is able to hold on to this the longest, despite the fact that I think EasyMD were kind of on the back foot for a little bit there. We still don't know who's ultimately going to take this game, especially you have this 1v1 Punchy coming out on top into another one, but Silver said absolutely not, and just tonight they've got this double here. That is going to be a total of a triple, and I think it is just going to be Bake who is left there before Punchy came in and made sure to get that pick. But as we were talking about before, both of these teams armed with the strikes and the Booyah, so despite the fact that they're going to have to get their picks, and I think we're about to see a bit of a delayed wipe there on EasyMD, both of them are going to have to work very hard to babysit this zone slot, because ultimately, regardless of if you're getting your picks, if you're fighting them, you can expect those strikes and that Booyah to come out and just paint over that zone if you aren't ready to paint over it.
Exactly, and it's honestly doing a great job at keeping the game going, in my opinion. Because as you can see, Cannon is taking advantage of their specials and doing a great job at keeping it. But as you see, the Booyah comes out, as well as strikes on the side of... Ooh, Cannon threw out their strikes at the exact same time as the Booyah Bomb, but it wasn't enough to keep the zone, unfortunately. Seeing both specials go out at the same time is definitely interesting.
Yeah,
it's a gamble.
Yeah, who's gonna get it? And you're like, do I go into there and I paint over it because you might just get caught in the other team's strikes? And we have a very unfortunate Jorian panning there to show you that one of the members of EasyMD has fallen into the water. Very unfortunate there.
Rest in
here
peace.
Come the strikes that are going to come out and be canceled out, and the Booyah as well. But finally, the members are here to paint over it. One going down, 3 down for Candid, and I think that is going to be EasyMD getting that zone, but it's a little bit too late. They've lost the lead, so now they have 50 ticks to get through before they get those points down.
Wow, this last minute of the game is going to be very fun to watch because both teams are both aching for that zone. You know it. You can tell that they both really want the zone. And you can see the strikes coming out, but the Booyah on the side of EasyMD on the enemy side, you see the strikes and Booyah Bomb come out from the side of Cannon, but neither are enough to take the zone.
Yeah, like we were talking about before, you see a Key and the rest of EasyMD doing a fantastic job of just babysitting that zone because you had the strikes coming out and the Booyah, and right now they have to paint over this and get the picks. 2 members down, I think, on either side, make that 3. Just, I think, unfortunately, that S-Blast, and it's not going to be enough. A blaster cannot outpaint just about any other weapon. And as a buzzer beater, EasyMD takes that game and I think sends Camden down to losers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof.
Which I think we're about to go check out losers next.
Absolutely. What a game at the end there. Both
What
of
a
those
set.
teams. Yeah, just very close. None of these absolute knockouts. And when it seemed like one would be, the other team would just deny them that. These are both extremely high level teams, not to be trifled with. And I think this set shows you exactly why that is.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what we see in losers, to see who's going to crawl their way up to grands.
Yeah. But I guess we, as well as the viewers, are just going to have to hang tight for that, because after this replay and the fantastic gameplay that we saw throughout the set, and especially this game, we will indeed be back. So don't go anywhere, or maybe just get a little snack, but don't go too far, because after this, we will be right back.
With more Splatoon.
Un, deux, trois.
time that we take, the days that we make, I'm always gonna be with you. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us, nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love, don't you forget it. We're all connected in this. I'm yours forever.
may not have been playing Silk Song while we waited.
Hello and welcome back to Shenanigans. We already have a DC off the top, but this is Triton-Cup 113 loser semis. We're gonna run it right back due to a DC right off the top, but this being loser semis, we're going right back to a best of 3. I'm Sasu here with Slat, looking at Chocolate Vanilla Swirl. Sounds yummy. Versus
Yummy.
a German name, Leg. Meet Zohan an.
I don't know how to say that.
Leg
I'm gonna say
is
leg.
not with Zohan. Leg dich like is nicht not meet with. So I took like 1 year of German. As you can hear.
We got Chocolate Vanilla Swirl versus Leg.
Leg.
I don't know how to speak German, and I'm not gonna mess it up. I can't. I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't know German. I've never spoken it.
Well,
That's scary.
I wish I'd gotten a closer look at those loadouts, because I'm always interested to see what people are going on Mako Mart zones, particularly. I myself, a big fan of the AoE on Mako Mart. You've got those stacks making it hard for people to drop off,
Oh yeah.
for people to take the stack on your side. But I feel like more and more these days I'm seeing people just say, I don't need that AoE. I'm just gonna kind of pick my shooter and call it a day.
I mean, it works. I say as a shot player.
Aha! You're like, hey, shot works literally wherever. But we're having meet Zohan. I guess they are with Zohan. There they are in all of their glory. Taking a look at this AoE in the form of what I believe is a custom blaster on on just one side, and then we have a V blaster out of Zohan. So we're gonna see how this shakes out for both of these teams. But you see already that tent is going to be coming out there. Not quite gonna get what it's looking for already. Chocolate Vanilla Swirl has an early start on this zone. You see, I think we have a trade and 2 down in general, so really good to get that hammer out of play, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like you were saying about the comps, we see the pencils are back. I was saying something about that earlier. But other than that, these comps look very interesting. There's just shooters and a blaster on one, and there's like, we got a wiper and a umbrella. So like, honestly, interesting kits. I'm kind of excited to see where this match goes.
Yeah, and of course, Brella in question is a tent. I think we've been seeing a little bit more Brella use due to the painting buffs, but tent always a mainstay, of course, in certain people's toolkits. Bling Bling with a really strong pick there, I believe, on that wiper from that junior. So right now, Pencil trying to get some of that paint down cooler out for their teammates, but things seeming a little bit evenly matched, but Leg dich nicht mit Zohanan having a really hard time, it seems, getting back into mid here. A real runaway from Chocolate Vanilla Swirl.
Yeah, and honestly, Chocolate Vanilla Swirl is doing a great job holding on. 1 second, I'm sorry. Can you take over for a sec?
Yeah, no problemo. Already, because we've seen very little movement for both of these teams, especially Bling Bling, of course, pops that bubble, making it all the harder for Leg dich nicht to really get anything down, and especially with that splashdown. That is just going to be game in what felt like an absolute knockout at the end there. Just, it seems as though they got completely outpainted. Perhaps not so surprising, seeing as though they had those 2 shooters on their side, especially with this Gal post buff. Definitely probably paying them back in dividends. Yeah, Gal got that buff, and you didn't know Gal got buffed?
Was this like the most recent patch?
Oh yes, the same patch that buffed and nerfed Brella in that it got special nerfs in points for special, got a paint buff, so we've been seeing a little bit more use of it in terms of a support. But more classically, Gal, already a menace, for whatever reason, got a buff, so not going to be surprised if there's more 52s on the loose.
I can't wait to see it. I mean, I didn't know about that buff, so I was personally thinking about picking Gal up myself. Up next, we've got zones on Hammerhead Bridge. Okay, well that's
Well,
interesting.
yeah, you
I
were
didn't.
talking about how people were going pen, but we might see some leaders. Who knows?
Maybe. I never thought I'd see Hammerhead in the tournament, so this is just shocking. To say the
Uh,
least.
I mean, it
Oh.
is in the map pool, and honestly, Triton being zones only, you do see a bigger pool of less common zones maps. Often, it'll just be kind of like a have at it, do whatever you want, due
Yeah.
to, so.
Well, let's see where this goes. Let's see if Chocolate Vanilla Swirl can take it, or if the other team, which name is
A leg, I think. Leg dich nicht. Yeah, dich nicht mit Zohan an.
sorry to put you on the spot. Sorry to put you on the spot like that. Can take it to game 3. Already we're seeing. All right, they kept the pencils. In fact, the weapons have not changed at all.
Yeah, which
Let's
is a
see.
little bit surprising, to be honest. You would think maybe we'd see a bit more of that splashdown, a change to that custom blaster, but already you see Chocolate Vanilla Swirl continuing their dominance, already getting several members down, pushing them back already. And as we know, Hammerhead, a very linear map, so definitely putting them in a tough spot, getting pushed back so
Oh
far.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And with honestly, I see the vision with pencil at least, because with it being so straight, you can honestly just see the whole team. So it works still. I see why you're thinking E-Leader would have been picked, but I see the vision. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think that I wonder how, sometimes pencil a lot of the time is just played by general support players, because I find that most people who do specialize in charger would prefer to pick an E-leader here. There's very few flanks for people to hide. It's just kind of a point and shoot. But I think going on that E-leader forces somebody else likely onto a zap. And when you're running specialized comps like this, where you have a tent and a blaster, definitely not going to want to give one of those up to a zap. So right now, we see that like Dich nicht mit Zohan an has managed to really finally take this game back, get some points on the board, all the way down to 50. And despite the fact that they've just lost the zone, definitely really good there. But Trinity goes down at the end. Raid of Tirade over Batty, getting that assist. So they do get their hands back on the zone. And I think this is looking more like a fair fight for this last game.
Yeah, this game is looking a lot more even, although, as I say that, Chocolate Vanilla Squirrel is going down, so it looks like, Leg Zohan is, realizing they're like, hey, this is a best of 3, it's all or nothing, let's get it done, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think I do know what you mean here, and so does Zohan, because they have effectively gotten a double, and they are seeing if they can just hunt for the remaining players, and being this far up going to be super beneficial, because quite frankly, if like nicht mit Zohan an, even if they were to get wiped here, you see maybe a change of hands, Batty making sure to stay in zone to check anybody who's trying to flank. Nonetheless, it's going to take forever for Chocolate Vanilla Swirl to get back into zone, so definitely a good play from them to push forward so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and they had a great hold on it too. They were doing a great job holding on, which was great to see. And now we're back at the middle where the zone is just switching colors back and forth, which you love to see it. We got Anger Sharking over here. Well, I would like to say Sharking, but just got point censored. But just a lot of fight on the sides and stuff.
Even so, very funny to think of a tent sharking, really,
Could.
because
It could.
you know, anybody can shark if you put your mind to it, really.
Exactly.
But
Just as long as you have the willpower.
yeah, and you see Anger clearly does still up, still getting those chips, and ultimately it seems as though like dich nicht mit Zohan on like their what they're going for here is kind of stalling out the zone versus trying to get the knockout. And you see they're kind of tempering their positioning here, not necessarily moving up too far like they've done before. Ali gets in here, going to go for the splashdown, no doubt, unless they go down. They do have the zone here, Chocolate Vanilla Swirl, but with 30 seconds left, they have quite a bit to get through, and they're going to have to work really hard to see if they can just close this out without going to a Game 3.
Yeah, they literally only have to hold the zone for like just the rest of the game. But I mean, I'll just say all leg deep neat mid Zohan on. I did not say that right. Has to do with just cap the zone for just a second and then they take it. And they're doing a great job at taking Chocolate Vanilla Swirl down. And
Yeah,
that's a wrap. We're going to Game 3.
that is going to be it. You see at the end there, they're able to mow down, I think, possibly a delayed wipe. Just the pencil was up, so you see a bit of walk to camera with a booyah there because they've known there was just no time for the rest of the team to get back in. So that is going to be a decisive and a very tempered win there for Leg dich nicht mit Zohan an. I wonder Leg dich. Yeah. And a really strong showing, especially because Chocolate Vanilla Swirl, I think, came at it with a really strong opening. So, really good job making sure that they came back. And then also, you know, on a linear place like this, you can easily lose it and then find yourself just throwing the rest of the game. So, really strong strategy, not overextending themselves there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it seemed to work in their favor. It brought them to Game 3, which is on Robo Ramen, one of my favorite maps to play zones on, personally. I mean, I like the flanks on it, I need to be honest. I just like flanks.
And I know, I think you mentioned that you play Shaw. This is also, I would argue, a very strong Zuka map as well. So, I think we saw no changes from either of those teams, but we might see the tent, I think, with Zuka next time around. I'm not quite sure if they were on the Zuka tent this time. They were on the one with Ink Mines for sure, but
Yeah.
given that there's a little bit of time in between, perhaps there's some strategizing, but gonna be curious to see if we see some switches to weapons that can better utilize those flanks. I'm thinking maybe those blasters stay. Blasters definitely really good here, but I guess we'll see.
I did see a Zuka last game, actually.
True. That might have been the tent unleashing its fury on the other team, but we are here at the tiebreaker Game 3 here in losers semis. Already a change, I think, there from Teeny onto the decav, and no changes, I think, from Chocolate
Interesting.
Vanilla Swirl.
What was Teeny on?
Uh, Teeny was on. Was it
Wiper.
Yeah.
Wiper, yeah. And you were right. It was on Ink Mine Zuka, because that is what the tent has. It has Ink Mine Zuka. So you were right. Kind of. Because I was assuming you thought the other one had Ink Mine, which is I probably would have also thought that too. Because that's an interesting comp for Umbrella. Anyways, we're in, and honestly, it looks pretty even here at the beginning. You see the Zuka come out. We're getting specials come out as Leg Deek Meet Mit Zohan on takes the lead.
Yeah,
Honestly, just... Oh, you're good.
But you see Chocolate Vanilla Swirl trying to kind of get their lick back. Finally, Zohan going down to Ali, which is going to be super important for them. You see that Zohan An has already gotten past this halfway point, and Teeny has set up this bubble kind of here by this choke, but does go down just 3 members down from which means that finally Chocolate Vanilla Swirl going to be moving in on that elbow positioning. So as you can see, they have no penalty. They can make a straight run down. So even though it may seem as though they're far behind, they may be we might be seeing a change of hands quite soon, especially because unlike those other games, we're not going to be seeing booyahs or strikes here.
True, that is correct. The special that they have best for taking zone right now is Splashdown, and that's on the side of Chocolate Vanilla Swirl. Because all I'm seeing is Bubbles, Cooler, and Whale.
Yeah, and like you mentioning that, really important because honestly, that's really weak. What's the word? That's really weak in terms of getting the zone back and honestly getting out of your own spawn. Retake is the term I'm looking for. And something when at least I'm playing Robo Ramen that I'm always very cautious of is how strong is your retake, because if the other team gets into your elbow and starts fighting you, how are you going to get out of your own flat? Because you can get bullied there, something nasty. And like dich nicht mit Zohan An has really weak retake with their specials, so they're putting themselves in a difficult position.
2 Bubbles is an interesting pick. I mean, neither team has good spell. Like I said, the only team... That's not true. Chocolate Vanilla Swirl does have Splashdown. But even on this, you have to get in an excellent double from the Zuka on from Anger there. Oh my goodness. They're just trying to tell us that they're not out of it yet.
Yeah, you see here that they're moving up into that elbow area, but they probably get punished. The 2 members just trying to fight while taking that space. And you're talking about the double bubble there, who I think double bubble question mark? Oh, out of the blaster and the decaf, and that's really useful. But after you've taken the space. Right now they have taken the space, so it is useful for them. Those whales are able to get their 2 picks, meaning I think that the 3 members going down, they just barely get denied this lead as Chocolate Vanilla Swirl just storms in there and camps all of those jumps. So we are heading into 1 minute left, and both of these teams just fighting to stay alive. And once again, Leg Nicht meet Zohan An in a really difficult position, especially with their weak retake, because I think their comp is strongest when they already have the space, and right now they do not have it.
Yeah, and I mean, all they really have to do... Oh, it looks like they're pushing through. They have a chance to just take a knockout here. But oh! We're counting down 3, 2, 1, and Chocolate Vanilla Swirl takes losers semifinals.
Yeah,
honestly,
they were.
The double bubble, I think double bubble is kind of part of the reason they went down here. Because, like, Wiper has Stamp, right?
Yes.
That Stamp would have been useful here on getting back in, at least in my opinion. That Stamp would have been excellent on getting back in, because it just pushes forward. But they did put up a hell of a fight for having 2 bubbles, so you gotta give props to them.
Yeah, for sure. I almost see the vision with this double bubble. Obviously, it can be super frustrating when the other team just has the fighting power to fight you and then not just take that space, but keep it. If you have a bubble in your elbow, that is a nightmare. And then you try and get past it, and then there's a bubble on zone. That's going to be super difficult to contend, but that comes at the risk of fighting power, certainly. So I think that sacrificing that fighting power up against such a strong team definitely a little bit showed some difficulty for them, and I think that's the ultimate reason perhaps why they went down. But yeah, that is going to be loser semis. So we will be heading in, I think, what to
Directly into
lose-
winners?
Yes,
losers
directly.
finals.
Yes.
Losers winners is what I almost just said.
Losers winners.
Losers
Uh,
winners.
Yes, I think we will be heading into that shortly. Perhaps question mark. We might take a bit of a short break, though. I think both of these teams are probably just about ready. So this time, I would advise that you don't go anywhere because I think we will be
We'll
right
be
back.
Right back. Yes. I love all these stickers on screen. Is that Connor Dog VA and Pikachu?
follow me. I'll show you the side of the world, the places that you've never seen. Come follow me. Come follow me. I'll show you the side of yourself, the person that you've always been, but never dreamed.
chocolate vanilla swirl had to drop. So we are here with your grand finals. I am here with Sasu, and we are going to bring you the most excellent commentary that we can bring with the sickness that we have. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm like, you've got two sick people on the mic, but we're going to be doing our best. And you know what? At least it's better to drop in between sets than us have another low ink incident. If you know, you know. But moving on from that, I'm taking a look at some absolute diabolical maps a little bit later in, especially noting that. Yeah, of course we have a pretty standard umami zones. Of course, we've got the double zones going on there. Museum zones, which is this is going to be really tough for easy MD. Whoa, actually, I just remembered both of these teams have leaders. No wonder. That explains a lot, because I would say museum, in which you have a leader and you can reach the entire team. You can kill them on their own plat from your plat. Bluefin zones, well known for being just a leader map, and the same thing is true if we do get to that game 4. We will see, because the last time we saw these two teams face off, it was a 3-2. So interesting to see if Candid will be able to get this bracket reset.
Yeah, well, let's find out. Not surprisingly, we see the same comps that we saw at the beginning of our beautiful commentating journey this evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. See, the thing about these double zone ones is, like, very often are we going to see one zone yellow, one zone purple. It's easy to just run straight up to one of the zones as opposed to circle around and get the other one right away. So, honestly, we're going to see Candon, it looks like, take the first... Oh, not quite. Easy MD takes the first... No! Oh my gosh, it's flipping back and forth. I'm, like, looking at the one zone, and then I'm looking back and seeing that the other one was taken by the other team. That's crazy.
Not super surprising to see that the zones were staying in neutral for so long. Like you mentioned, you could just waltz on up to one of those, put a little bit of paint down, especially if you have somebody on snipe on that top right there. They could just sort of lob some of that paint and neutralize a zone. But right now, Candid has been effectively pushed back by Easy MD. You see one of the members getting a pick and then jumping out to further put some pressure on that plat. So finally, 2 members down on Easy MD. I think the leader, once again, I think we have Bake on that scope. 3 members down from Candid, meaning that Easy MD, despite letting someone through and neutralizing that zone. Oh wait, I got a little bit confused there. Easy MD, I think, let up a little bit and finally able to move forward and get their hands on that zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it was pretty stalematy for just a second, but Easy MD does get the zone. But they do go down, and immediately Candon does take back the zone. But they do have a pretty hefty penalty to get through, because they did go through a lot. They did get down a lot on their first push.
Yeah, but you see 2 members down here on Easy MD. They're trying to just kind of get their specials together. Finally, that cooler comes out, so they're at the very least ready to take these fights a little bit with smaller consequences, rather, but back and forth. Finally, those are the strikes that are coming out. But unlike we've seen in these other zones map, the strikes and the booyah not necessarily going to be as effective, because there's not just this one big area that you need to get those on. You might have to split them between 2 zones. A double taken here by this bucket here before going down themselves, but it at the very least means that Easy MD has been able to fight their way out of perhaps a stalemate there.
Yeah, it's their turn to push, as they are trying desperately, it looks like, to get them back in their base. But both sides go 2 down. I guess 3 down? No. Well, one side... Now both sides went 3 down. Wow. That's awesome. We see that I'm sorry, I'm, like, flustered right now, and I don't know why.
No problemo. EasyMD does get that back, but once again, just a lot of pressure from Camden to neutralize these zones, because quite frankly, if EasyMD is able to get their hands on this zone steadily, that might spell a lot of trouble. Those strikes going out to help assist them. We have a 2v1, that S-Class going down, and finally EasyMD able to get those numbers ticking once again, and that's going to be great for them. I think we're going to be seeing a change of hands in just a second if they get this zone, and they do. So right now, 2 members down on Camden, and I think EasyMD poised to take this first game.
Yeah, absolutely. All they have to do is just hold it in. That excellent E-leader shot, but like we're seeing kills get traded left and right as EasyMD does take the first game on Umami Zones. Whew! Sorry about that. I'm back. I'm here.
No,
Ready to
totally
rock.
fine. I think that's why you've got 2 of us on the mic. We're here to support each other, go in and out, to let y'all know what we're seeing. And I think we have already EasyMD with a strong opening. We saw that they went 3-2 in the last time a best of 5 was going down, and quite frankly, they won that last game on a buzzer beater. So the fact that they were
did.
able to decisively take the tail end of this game, I think, really makes them feel confident going into game 2.
Absolutely. It's a lot. EasyMD had a lot of good kills, like that double slosher kill that we just saw right there. And it's exciting to see what we could possibly see going into the next couple matches, because Camden isn't out of this yet. You know what I mean? Because like we said earlier, it was best of 5. They made it to the best of 5. They went 3-2, and it was a buzzer beater, like you said. So we could see anything from these games.
Absolutely, and we're going to be heading into Museum here, and I have to wonder if this is Bake's to lose. Bake, of course, I think, still on that scope up against Kasato's standard. No, not on the scope, changing over to pencil instead, which is especially interesting here because, like I mentioned right off the top, in Museum, you are able to just aim at that plat, and standing on your own plat, just snipe people straight out of their pants, who are just like kind of what I would call in their own house. You know, you're on your own plat, trying to get out that paint from a safe place, and the E-leader just gets you from across the map. So interesting to see Bake change here. We'll see how that works out for them, and so far it seems to be really well because Camden already has a lead and the zone. Ooh.
Yeah, and they're actually doing a pretty good job at holding, as Casato here is just trying to find some picks, and is just maybe the pencil was the play here.
Yeah, maybe, because we did see Casato get some good picks there, but I think that because we have Bake instead on this pen, we have a switch over to the splash, meaning that Camden has a crab that they did not have before, and really important to mention because crab is really strong here. You have that center spinner, and having a crab put that pressure on that bot can be absolutely deadly. And speaking of deadly, 2 going down on both teams, that being a third. Kasato still with this reign of terror, getting a pick at the end there before getting Booyah, but Booyah finds no purchase. I think we have 6-7 going in there to finish off the job, and 3 members down on EasyMD is going to make it so that Camden is just going to be ticking down on those numbers. So as we said, that aforementioned crab putting a lot of that pressure on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, the crab honestly might be nice here, especially because it's got that range. It has similar, I don't know how much range it has similar to E-leader, but it does have some more range, and it gives them another opportunity to deal with that E-leader as opposed to just the other leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it just being closer, it's not just going to pressure that leader, but anybody who's unfortunate to be found on their own plat there, because just a crab is enough to just put down a lot of pressure on absolutely anybody. But you see Silver getting this double, 3 members down on Candon, except for Punchy, who has that crab ready. Gonna have to pop it in that bottom left with no choice. Goes down due to just being triple teamed, it seems, in that corner. And EasyMD just, I think they're about to get this lead, perhaps.
They take it, just like you said. And honestly, as you can see, the map is mostly in their color. They're doing a great job at keeping the zone their color. They're not wanting to give up this grand finals to Candon as they take the second game 2-0. It was EasyMD that won winners finals, right?
Yes, it was EasyMD, I think. But I could be wrong. I think they almost got reverse swept the last time we saw them there. So not unusual to see them with this strong opening. But ultimately, they have to sort of finish off with a kiss of death to make sure that they do not end up being reverse swept, because Candon is no joke. They will try and deny you the rest of the game if they can, especially when you won with a 3-2. Just because, if I remember correctly, it was Mahi zones, and the S-Blast was left alone in that zone, not able to paint over it in those last few seconds. But once again, expecting to see Bake switch back over to that leader, especially because it seems as though the pen switch did not go in their favor. And Bluefin Zones doesn't necessarily beat that crab, so perhaps we see a leader v leader once again.
I don't think I've ever seen Bluefin Zones in the tournament, ever.
Oh, you have never been to a Metro Inc. event. I see.
I've only been to LTC and Riptide. I've been to 2 lands.
Yeah, a bit of a... and I'm sure probably, especially
I don't
if
commentate Biggie.
Everyone here is Europe-based, probably have not been there as well. A little bit of a land joke, because we all know Bluefin Zones is in regular rotation at Metro Inc. events, whether that be a big Dapple or otherwise. But going back into it, we see once again that leader, and I think a switch back to Bake on that scope leader, and
No cooler.
a little bit more changes. Yes, they have forsaken the cooler. Clearly that pet, I think, was to account for the fact that perhaps the Zap was having a bit of a hard time there, but they have said, forget that, we are just going to have these support shooters. But that has paid back in dividends, especially because they have, of note, this Dreadringer, which of course has the Reef Slider. So that's going to be super annoying for EasyMD to deal with. But of course, they've got their leader and the rest of what they're running in tow. So
yeah, let's see what happens. Candon has a really strong hold on this zone. We see Silver trying to sneak back in there, trying to get some picks from behind. Not quite being able to do from behind. Maybe I was wrong. That's not behind. No, it is. Isn't it? Am I crazy? I might be crazy.
Sometimes, honestly, my orientation gets messed up, especially because, of course, Bluefin Zones has this moving zone that just kind of messes up where everything is coming from. But you see that EasyMD, despite Candon making an absolutely really strong opening push all the way down to 31, EasyMD ready to see if they can just close this out in a 3-0, taking the zone. But they are up against a Reef Slider and a Crab at the ready for Candon while they wait for their leader to come back in, as well as a Gal. Once again, 52 getting that buff. Right now, it is just an absolute laser. So they're certainly going to have to watch themselves against that Reef Slider.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, it looks like... Oh, they barely got knocked back. I'm sorry, this is really taking hold.
You know, I'm sick too. I totally feel you. We get through it though, especially
we get through it.
Bake is trying to do the same, posting up to see if they can get this pick. EasyMD just behind by 1 point, so they are fighting and fighting hard, especially as we come up on this halfway point. Kiki, I think, left behind a little bit there as Punchy gets out with this crab and puts a lot of the hurt on this zone. Kasato trying to get those picks. We've been seeing Kasato this entire time, getting these absolutely gnarly picks. And speaking of which, Punchy goes down to the Kasato special there.
As we see AZMD taking the zone back despite Candon's once again switch up to try to give them a harder time. They do have a penalty they have to break through. However, they have a pretty strong hold on the zone right now.
Yeah, they do. And, you know, I would think that, especially with this Reef Slider that's going to come out, automatically cap over that to stop them. But you see, they get punished for it. 3 members down, Bake the only person remaining. And it's interesting because I would think that Candon might have the upper hand there, having that scope, because Bluefin is a leader map. Everyone is just kind of out in the open, and a leader standing on snipe can just pick people off like nothing. But perhaps the amount of time it takes to get that pick, you see Bake going down. I think that is going to be to Kasato in the middle of aiming. Kasato really just winning the leader off here, and I think it's helping EasyMD to just keep control on the zone, especially because you see right now it is in neutral, but they are already through their penalty points, so this is not looking good for Candon.
Absolutely not. With 8 ticks left on the board, let's see if Candon can get in and get the paint, which I don't think they can, and that makes EZMD your Triton Cup 113th winners. Congratulations to you guys.
Yeah,
Woo!
ending it off with a snipe and a bang, a 3-0, denying Candon that bracket reset in just one fell swoop. An absolute dominant set there from EZMD, really showing their dominance. That a shocking display, especially after such a close 3-2, but it happens that way sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you get the close game, and then the team who won or the team who lost is like, you know what? We're about to go against these guys again. Let's remember. And they did. And they 3-0'd. They remembered. And I forgore. Thank you so much. Kidding.
I think it doesn't help that Candon, I think due to that drop, you know, usually they would have that losers finals, maybe get a little bit warm and be a little bit more used to what they have to do. But I think having that drop probably also did them no favors in terms of just kind of being cold on the game. EZMD, of course, also cold, but certainly a strong team and going in with the confidence to win there. So that's just how it ended up being. And yeah, you know, a solid 3-0, but great games nonetheless.
Yeah, wonderful games. And I think with that, that is the end of our broadcast here today. I was once again joined by the lovely Sasu. Thank you so much for commentating with me. That was excellent.
No, of course. Thanks for commentating with me, Slat. I know that we're both very sick, but before we go, I want to make sure we get our plugs in. So what is it that you have to plug?
You can find me over on twitter.com. You know, that's what it's still called, right? At Slatica1, I haven't posted there in a while, but I'm trying to get back into the content, the social media. You can also find me over at youtube.com/@Slatica, where I am going to be making videos once again. And maybe when I get better internet, you can find me at twitch.tv/Slatica, because my internet is garbage right now and I cannot stream. But Sasu, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me primarily on Blue Sky and any other social media at Sasu in your pants. That's SASUIN, the letters UR, pants, and also, yeah, that's basically where you can find me. I'm going to be a little bit more busy than I used to be. So I feel as though Dapple Productions really is my home, but I'm going to be a little bit more scarce these days on the mic, a little bit less than you're used to seeing me. So definitely glad to be on the mic before. I'm going to be a little bit more scarce there. And I will remind you to go to your local lands, whether you are in North America where there are a lot of lands popping up, or I think, what is it, Octofest, I think is coming up maybe this weekend, if not very, very soon. So be sure to go out to your lands that you can get going to. And before we sign off, one last plug for our streamer, Jorian, in the background, making sure that those replays are played, that you're getting all the action. So I thank you for Jorian for all his hard work as well.
Shout out Jorian. Jorian is one of the best streamers in the Splatoon community that I know, and it's always whenever I get on mic and I see him. Thank you. Whenever I get on mic and I see him, I know it's going to be a great time. So thank you. Shout out again, Jorian. It is always a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, and shout out to you viewers for watching. So we will definitely see you again for Triton-Cup 114. So thank you for joining us.
Be there or be square.